I didn't sell out, son. I bought in. Keep that in mind.
Welcome to the Independent Characters, episode 274. This is Carl.
This is Josh.
This is Adon.
In this episode, we are bringing you Staging the Apocalypse. At least that's the title of the episode. And we're going to talk about how you run narrative mega battles. So battles larger than 3,000 points in 40K. Significantly larger in our case.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about kind of our findings and thoughts there and maybe some other solutions that might work out well. Before we get started in that, I want to talk about our sponsors, Sean Ireland and Nick Mutton.
Sean Ireland. I haven't seen Sean in a while.
Yeah. Blast from the past.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Say hi to Big Jim. Thank you guys for your support of the show through our Patreon. If you want to find out more about that, there's links at theindependentcharacters.com. And as usual, we're part of the Goonhammer Media Network. So you can check out media.goonhammer.com for more shows and information. So
And I want to thank them, actually. One of their articles helped me with putting together my work boarding action. Talk about that later.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right.
They got lots of good resources.
Yeah, they do.
It's awesome. And I'm not just saying that because we know some of the guys who run it.
Yeah. It's a great resource.
It's a great resource.
Really
All right, let's leap right into Elite Choice. These are the things that we saw from the ICs community in the last couple of weeks. And for me, I chose Dark Muse and his Starweaver on our Discord channel because if there's one thing I absolutely do not want to paint, it's Harlequins. and I absolutely love the color choices and
the diamond pattern.
The diamond pattern, which is done by hand.
The color fade of the diamond pattern across the carapace of the vehicle too is nice.
The starlight. Yeah. I mean, the stars.
The galaxy kind of looking thing.
Yeah, because one of the cool things about the galaxy on this, I mean, one of the things you'll see is people will do like an airbrush, kind of like just a spurt thing.
Usually they flick it off of a brush.
Or flick it off a brush. And this is actually done by hand.
It's all hand-added, much more intentional.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks absolutely great. And I'd like to see more of his units, to be honest with you. I kind of searched around a little bit. I couldn't find them. But I'm a big fan of the way Harlequins look. I just never want to paint them.
I painted a kill team back in the two editions of Kill Team ago when it was like super fun to do the diamonds at like Kill Team scale, but whole army like
I couldn't. No, I just wouldn't be able to sleep with murder clowns in my house, so I couldn't have that army.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. Anyway, that was the Independent Characters episode 274.
Good talk.
Josh, what have you picked?
I went with Andrew's Sisters of Battle, and we've called out a few other things that Andrew has done. In this same project.
The suits. What are the Sisters battle suits called? The
Paragon?
Yeah, the Paragon war suits.
Yeah. Paragon war suits. Yep. So these are not the Paragon war suits, but these are, I'm not even sure what the unit is, just standard Sisters with a Canoness or something like that.
Is that I think that might be the Celestian Incendiants, the new kill team.
Oh, okay.
Looks good.
So anyway, it's a Sisters of Battle unit that's phenomenally executed and very similar to the Paragon war suits. The way that Andrew is focusing light on kind of the face and upper halves of the models and then just letting it kind of naturally taper down into shadow. It's really striking. It's such a cool
first take on this when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, it hasn't finished oh no, wait, they are done. And
it's intentional.
Because the way it fades out. It really does.
It's like each one of them kind of has a spotlight on it, but it's not such a
it's the glow of the
Emperor.
It's
not harsh light. It's nice, like soft and diffused light, and it could absolutely be the glow of the Emperor. I think the was Morgenval. I don't remember. The sister special character, like she was in a golden suit, and that one I think we actually called out. Like it looked like the light of the Emperor.
And the thing I said about that one, which I would say about these two, is when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, well, you're kind of cheating by like not doing like the rest of the model. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, No, that's actually hard to do. What he's doing is a lot harder than it looks.
It's painted, it's subtle, but like it's also
It's
really
good.
smart and it's really cool. And I appreciate the artistic direction of that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And I like once this is a full army on the table looking like that, I'm gonna
it looks stunning.
it's gonna look stunning. So job well done, Andrew.
Yeah,
We'll go from the light of the Emperor to the grime of Acadia.
Before you go to that, Andrew, if you could take a picture of like everything you have done for this army so far, we would love to see like that as a group picture. Like that looks awesome. Anyway, all right.
No, I was just gonna say, going from the light of the Emperor to the grid of Cadia.
Still the light of the Emperor shines.
I picked Casey Roberts' Guardsman that he did. It's one of the limited edition models. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But when I first saw him working on this, I was like, oh, this is like so appropriate for this model. You know, you can really get the sense that this guy's been through it. He's kind of got that look on his face like, oh, finally made it through. And
he's seen some stuff.
He's seen some stuff. Yeah. And just really, really nicely done. And so that caught my eye. I thought I'd throw it out there.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Also the photography with the backdrop.
Yeah.
Works pretty good too.
Yeah,
so.
nice shallow depth of field. I love the that's like rusty mud on the boots there. Like you can see the actual texture there, which is cool. And then just the kind of subtle hazard stripes on the actual las gun.
Yeah.
Like I said,
cable.
it just
That's nice. Yeah,
and you really get a sense of they're coming back from a battle. It really has that, like you said, I've seen some stuff kind of thing.
that model. It's a new model.
It's a special edition model, and I can't remember.
I can't remember.
It's got a title rather than having
there
a
are
name.
so many special edition models now.
Yeah, some of them are the ones coming out for this year are really nice too.
It's just interesting. It's a fairly flat pose. So I'm like actually curious to see. Obviously, I'm not paying that much attention to Astra Militarum IG stuff these days, but having the sword kind of like flattened down with the body and then the gun only just slightly forward, it's like, oh, it's more reminiscent of the old metal sculpts.
The old metals, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to get this guy painted up because I have all the other ones like the
I don't know.
all the other special edition ones like Minka Lensk and the one they call him Action Jackson, but it's not actually his name. And then
is he a catechin? Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then the gunner from Aliens, where that's not really who she is, but that's who she is.
Clearly inspired.
Yeah, clearly inspired.
Okay.
Anyway, I have all of those different models already all painted up. In fact, both versions of Minka.
I always forget that you have a bunch of IG stuff.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
Yeah, I'd love to add him in. I want to make a kill team just for all the different special characters. Maybe with Ebram Gaunt and stuff like that from Gaunt's Ghost.
Sounds like a great place for a Necromunda Venator gang.
Yeah, that worked out so well for me the first time.
Okay, well, talking about community stuff, and before we move on to our own hobby progress or lack thereof, we do have a couple voicemail messages that I want to run past you guys. So let's take a listen.
Greetings from Ireland. My name's Caelan Harrington. I'm with the Waterford Tabletop Gaming community in the Southeast. I just wanted to reach out and say thanks for having such an amazing podcast and community. I'm not part of the Discord yet. I am on the Facebook group, and I use it as a constant source of motivation and inspiration. I've been playing for 30 years now. I've been playing since 2nd edition, initially with Eldari, or Eldar, properly as they are. And I still have a large Space Marine force as Raptors, and now I've taken the leap into doing Leagues of Votan. I'm going to my first tournament in end of July in Athlone in the Midlands for a team tournament. It will be my first tournament in 25 years since 2002 GaelCon. I wanted to say thanks for all the amazing content that you guys create and put out. It's hugely motivational and inspirational. And I'm on the Facebook group, but I'm not in the Discord yet. I don't think I want to jump in just quite yet because I'll lose all what little free time I have. But the Hobby Progress Challenge has been a huge inspiration to myself, and I'm now running my own Hobby Progress Challenge here with the WTGC, but also with a lot of extra people from around Ireland, some friends from college who got back into the hobby after 25 years. Last year, we were averaging 13 participants every month. We had 149 completed entries. At the end of the year, we did a raffle for our local game store, and an additional disc plate for people who completed all 12 months. But your challenge has been an inspiration, and it's helped us to get 5 new armies out on the table. So thanks for everything. Crack on.
All right.
That's awesome.
So
fantastic.
clearly the way to get your message out on the independent characters is to flatter us. But also when he was talking about like all the content you put out, I don't think he's just referring to the content we put out on the show, but the content that everybody in the community is
The
putting.
whole
Yes.
community has built
Yeah.
up and contributed. And
Yeah. And I was excited to hear when he started talking about doing their own hobby progress.
Yeah.
challenge.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. We tell people double dip. Like if you're doing it for this, there's other
Right.
event, feel free. It's
Yeah,
fine.
GW has a thing right now, paint a million models or whatever it is. And I mean, as a community.
Oh, gotcha.
As a community.
Okay.
And then you pledge a number of models that you want to do, and you go to your store and say, I'm pledging 50 models or whatever. And then they track it, and you can actually earn stuff based on how many you paint.
Oh, I'm sure they'll hit that million pretty quick.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as a fellow second edition player,
Eldari player,
playing
too.
Eldar also, and knowing it as Eldar, not Eldari, but
Trademark.
Yeah, exactly. Just an extra shout out there. Like, appreciate that, and cool to see like after having taken a 25-year hiatus on tournaments
yeah.
and feeling like there's a good spot to go and explore that again. And it's definitely a big part of the game right now. So it's cool.
Yeah.
To get
I was just looking at the thing
hobby.
that came out about the Dallas Open and the Tacoma Open and the Edmonton, Alberta, all the different opens that they just announced. And I was going through my calendar. Can I go there? Can I go there?
Must be nice.
Yeah. Well,
Being
not
retired.
having a job or anything. Yeah, exactly.
Jealous. All right. Well, we got one more
Some flying
message
for free.
and you guys may recognize this.
Hello, long-time listener, first-time caller. My name is either Gaston or Danish version of Michael, like the Spanish Miguel, just Miguel. On Discord, I go by Affable Moose. Legends, I have a theme or faction at least for my wishes, but I'd like to address calls, talk of units going to Legends, then potentially coming back and re-released in plastic, and it has already come to pass with the Attilan Rough Riders. I was sad to see them go to Legends, as I assumed Legends was just like the miniatures version of the Green Mile. And I've got at least 14 of the old ones converted riding Fenrisian wolves. Secondly, Adan talked about the Vulture Gun ship, and that is a beauty. At first, I thought he was talking about the Vendetta, as it is more clearly the Valkyrie chassis, but the kit is more or less just an upgrade sprue, so it couldn't be that one. I've got, for Legends units, I've got 3 Armageddon pattern Medusa siege cannons. That's obviously a model I like. Even though people kept telling me the Basilisk was better. The 2 next models is just my dream models, and I guess they'll stay a dream forever. The Macarius Vanquisher, the most beautiful tank I've ever seen, and the Praetor, formerly known as Praetor Armored Assault Launcher. Just a beast of a model, to be honest. And lastly, the most honorable of mentions, Commissar or Boss Sebastian Oldman Yorick, Old Bailey, my first model, and the first I repainted when I got back into the hobby.
So first off, cool the international reach.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like when we started the show, I didn't really, even though I worked in the internet industry, it just didn't really occur to me that there'd be a reach for the show beyond kind of our shores, really. And we have a tremendous following, in various countries, which is really, really cool.
It's awesome. Fantastic.
So thank you both for calling in.
Yeah. And
What a treadhead, huh? All these tanks, yeah.
And cool to get more of the personal touch from somebody that we've, I think, all interacted with quite a bit on Discord, especially with Affable Moose. Now we've got a name to a voice to go with that. Yeah.
He does sound like quite the affable moose.
Yeah. Okay.
When he brought up the Rough Riders, I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they got new models.
They had gone Legends and came back out. So there's hope.
There is rumors and speculation right now that 11th edition is going to be going back to Armageddon in a future campaign book, and that Yark might be coming back. So Affable Moose might get yet another.
As I was gluing the head
unretired.
Gluing the head back on my metal bone singer yesterday, I was like, well, it could come back. It could happen.
It absolutely
It could
could.
happen.
It could. So anyway, listen, thank you both so much for calling in, leaving messages. We really do enjoy hearing what the community has to say. And so, if you want to leave us a message as well, you can go to theindependentcharacters.com. There is a link in the right-hand bar, and you can just click on that and leave us a voicemail.
Yeah.
You got limited 2 minutes.
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and it cuts you off.
Share something cool, or even ask us a question if you want.
Open.
Want a little prompt, a little topic. Yeah.
All right, let's do hobby progress. So going into this this event that we ran here, which was our big apocalypse type game, I had the intention of getting my War Dogs and Knights done.
Yep.
That did not occur.
I was going to say, how did that go?
Got the plates done. But the other thing I realized too, as we were going into it, was I had neglected to include my Thunderhawk, my Chaos Thunderhawk.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And I was like,
And that's like 500 points.
It's
More.
it was, I think around 500.
550, I thought, something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, it took up a number of those points anyway, so I just substituted that in. And now I've broken my airbrush, so I'm slowed down.
You
even
didn't
a little
break
bit.
it, to be fair.
My new dog broke it. My new dog, who's normally quiet but barked at the both of you when you came in.
We're
Not at
we're
first,
sketchy.
though.
Not at first.
Yeah, not at
then.
first either. Yeah.
I think it's the facial hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be it.
Could be. I don't have facial hair.
That's right. Not at the moment. You don't. Yeah. You know what though? I would say that your hobby progress section should be longer actually in the notes, because one of the things you did that actually helped, I mean, in terms of progressing your hobby, you spent a lot of time and effort setting up this game.
We did.
The
And we'll go.
tables and all that kind of
We'll
stuff.
go into that too.
I'm just saying that counts as hobby progress.
And what Tom and I came up with,
Right.
For kind of our side thing, the Taskmaster stuff, which I'll talk about
that's fine.
in a bit. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean,
the writing and all that kind of stuff, that's progress, man. That's work.
it is.
And
It's
I think-
not the model progress I wanted to make.
No, I get it. But I think that sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle. The person who's running the stuff, or you have like a DM or
for
whatever,
sure.
the work that goes into that, sometimes
Yeah.
people kind of take that for granted. And so I
sure.
just want to make sure we recognize
Oh yeah, the
that.
thing I didn't mention here was I did like apply some paint to that large bridge thing.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
touch up some pieces of terrain I had, so I did a little bit. Okay, Josh, let's go to you.
Yeah. So I did finish a few things in preparation for that big game.
This thing can burn in hell, by the way.
First on the list there is the Seraptic Heavy Construct for the Necrons. And this is the big burn in hell 540 point mechanical
Walker
spider looking
thingy.
thing.
Model deleter.
Yeah. This thing,
pretty cool.
it did work.
Yeah.
It did work. It's basically pointed at anything and it is gone.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking model. This has been sitting in a box unassembled for 10 years. So this game was
Wow.
a great excuse for me to
I
build it.
didn't
and
realize
paint it.
that.
Yeah. No, I put it together. I had to clean off I hadn't even cleaned off the mold release on the resin. It'd just been sitting in a box inside of its bag for
Molding.
10 years. Yeah. Yes. No. Resin killed all that. So it's fine. Yeah, but it was really, really fun and satisfying to get this thing built, painted, and ready for this big showcase of a game. So
Aaron did a few models too, Forge World models that he had sitting around.
he did the big pylon.
The pylon.
the pylon.
Yeah. So that was cool. It was good to see you guys. Okay, so it did look good, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, the pictures we saw looked really
It was
good.
fun.
Yeah.
It's a cool model, and I'm glad it just now
And
it's
it's
just
heavy. And when this is
it's a chunk
heavy
of resin.
construct,
It is a
a
chunk of
heavy
resin.
model.
So here's the next thing though.
Kit goes surprisingly well together for being that size of a resin kit. I've definitely had problems with bigger resin kits in the past, and this one was a dream to put together. So
Yeah, I mean, like the
that was
big
awesome.
Space Marine tank, the
Astraeus.
The Astraeus, that's like 7 pounds of
That
resin.
thing's heavy.
I mean, literally.
I
7
sold
pounds.
mine. Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yeah, I sold it new in box. Like
I was like, I'm not
I was
touching
just
it.
like,
it's not worth
well,
it.
I'd stopped doing Marines. So
Oh,
I was like,
right,
yeah,
right.
I'm done.
Next up, I already had a Nightbringer model. I have the metal one from second edition or third edition when Nightbringer actually came out. I think it was third. I did get the new plastic Nightbringer, which is a nice
What a
glow up
beautiful model.
Yeah, it's just the
It's
pose
awesome.
is so dynamic, and
Its presence on the table is
It has a lot more board presence on this.
Yeah.
It is a much larger base too, because it went from a 40 millimeter base to I think a 90.
I threw so much into this thing trying to kill it. It just
Well, see, it has all the repair scarabs already on it.
This was the opposite of new model syndrome, where Nightbringer did work also.
He did.
So the
I'm sensing a theme here.
I've now got the Bash brothers, like the pair of these two with one up close melee and
their
one
team,
like sitting back range.
The freaking Necron team is like, well, lore wise, we could have more than one Nightbringer because they're just
Oh, I
shards.
heard that. No,
Get outta here.
I read that. No.
No. We said no.
No.
But they had to ask. It was fair.
It's an epic hero.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
But the question,
have multiple
the reason the
Abaddons
question
on the
came
table.
up is like, is this a lore focused narrative game where there are multiple shards, or are we playing by 40k rules where it's an
Yes
epic
and
hero?
yes.
Yes and yes. I mean, there's a reason that it's limited.
It was obviously totally fine, and
We
one
field 9 Nightbringers.
Yeah, exactly.
one did a lot lot So yeah,
You guys were fine.
we didn't need any
The
more.
9 monoliths did the other work.
It wasn't quite 9. But
Yes, it was.
did you count? Was it? Yes. It was like 7. It's still a lot. Okay, I also painted up a Chronomancer, which is a cryptic, another model that I'd had sitting new on sprue for a while.
Didn't notice him. I was too busy dealing with the Nightbringer.
I didn't even feel
Because he
it.
jumped forward in time. That's why.
Yeah, Jamie had him.
Nice.
So he wasn't on our table. Scarabs also now used to max out on groups of 9, so I had 10 painted for some reason.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do 2 groups of 6 because they now max out at 6. So I had to paint 2 bases of Scarabs in order to
you
fill
go.
out that second group of 6. So I did that, and then I had again, this has probably been like a year or two in progress of converting a Ghost Arc into a Doomsday Arc. Because the transports max out at 10 infantry and a character now, which really you always are going to be fielding warriors in groups of 20 because Necrons want the numbers to survive, so they have a chance to come back. So I had 2 Ghost Arcs because this army's been going since 5th or 6th. This is a 5th edition army that I've been adding to over the years, and I do not need 2 Ghost Arcs anymore, just the way the game plays. So I converted one into a Doomsday Arc, which was pretty easy to do. We just cut it, flip it,
Right.
do some rods in there to support it, and add the big gun, which also did great.
Yes, it did.
It was much better than a Ghost Arc would have been. And then the easy thing was just magnetizing all my Necrons I don't have foam for, so I've always just used table war cases. I had an old like battle foam bag way back in like 5th edition. Many years ago, which I got rid of. So I now only transport them with table war cases.
Yeah.
So I had to magnetize all the new stuff. So that was cool. And then went on a little bit of a building spree, again, trying to get the Eldar ready for tabletop time sooner than later. Building Lycus, Janezar, 10 Storm Guardians, and then 10 Howling Banshees.
How was building Lycus?
Lycus was pretty good.
Because it's such a dynamic model.
Super
Sometimes
dynamic.
I worry about that.
I built Lycus separate from the base, so I built up the whole base
Right.
with the like exploding kind of webway portal
Right.
As one piece, and then Lycus as a separate piece that
Okay.
I'll glue together after painting. And I think that was the way to go for it.
Yeah.
And I know like building Janezar, Lars had actually complained about like how much he hated building Janezar, and because the way her hair was like spinning around,
Right.
and I was like, it was a breeze.
This is Lars.
It's Lars. He
What
just
does he
wants to
know?
complain.
Well, yeah, it's a breeze. Her hair is going in the breeze.
Exactly. Yeah.
God, we are full of bad jokes today. All of
That
us
was
are.
not a bad joke.
It was.
Okay.
Survey says.
Service said, it wasn't a bad joke, but it was a dad joke.
Okay.
A granddad
It's the
joke.
first one that I laughed at. Okay. Then what did you work on, Adon?
I got 2 copies of Shadowhunt.
Yeah, you did.
To split them up amongst a couple different people. And I had to camp out for one of them. And then my buddy actually camped out for the other one.
Well done.
At a different store.
Nice.
And so we got that kind of put together. Commissioned the second wave of the Cathay models for painted figs.
Did we talk about
Yeah.
your Cathay last time?
Yeah.
Man,
They came out
look,
great.
They look great.
Yeah. So I commissioned the second
I like
wave.
my half of the army.
Yeah.
Don left the house after recording, and he's like driving. He goes, "I left. I left the whole half. They came in 2 boxes.
Yeah.
I left one of the boxes at your house." And I'm like, "Oh, look, check out my Cathay army."
Yeah.
I
I
saw that on eBay.
$50.
Yeah. anyway, they announced the second wave with all the Fusiliers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I commissioned that, and so that's all ready to go. As soon as the models come in, I just ship them off.
I was going to ask, do you send them assembled or they assemble?
You can do it either way.
I know. But what do you do?
Well, it depends. I mean,
What are you doing with the Cathay stuff?
I'm having them assemble it.
Okay.
Because they charge you like $1 or $1.50 a model to assemble it. And yeah.
And they dry fit.
They do. I actually asked to make sure that they do that.
Did you send them
Did you send a pin? Yeah.
Your dry fit?
The dry fit union?
Yeah, you should
union.
International
I should,
Union.
send them some stickers. It's interesting though. If you ship it to them in the original packaging, you ship them to their shipping point in Chicago, and Lucas goes through and he compresses, takes it all apart and just sends and basically makes it the smallest package possible.
right.
Ship less air.
To ship less air, basically. And they've been doing it for years. And you guys saw how they were wrapped when they came back. So
Dude, it was great.
They're great at their shipping.
I will admit that the service you are getting from them is fantastic. And the quality was phenomenal.
I mean, and that was their basic quality.
Yeah, loved it.
And so, I think out of the whole army, I mean, there was, over 100 models, one banner broke. Out of the whole thing.
In shipping.
In shipping. It could have been the way I unwrapped it. Who knows?
Well, so that's Painted Figs, right?
Paintedfigs.com.
Yeah, so I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, and then, so I commissioned that for them. I also picked up 2 copies of the 500 Worlds set, the books, one for myself and one for the campaign, which I'll talk about in just a bit. And then I pre-ordered all the Huron stuff, the Masters of the Maelstrom and the Huron. But I forgot the books, and now they're sold out. So I'm not gonna have to camp out again and get the books.
Oh,
I want those books too.
yeah.
I forgot that they had gone up, but it's all right. Not that
And it's funny because I was like sitting there right at 10 o'clock. Go to
then
pick up the
forgot
other
to
stuff, and I
check out
forgot
the
to put the books
sorry.
in there.
I should have had a one-click deal.
Yeah,
I'm the one-click guy. Save me all those clicks.
Yep. Doesn't save you money, but it saves you in clicks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sometimes
Time is money, Josh.
Time is money.
That's true.
Time is money. I purchased and built 5 Chosen.
Yeah.
For that army, I left the heads off because I'm going to probably paint the heads separately.
Okay.
Because the list I'm going to do.
Those are good kits.
The Chosen.
The Chosen.
Kit. Yeah.
Is this your first Chaos Army?
No.
Okay.
No. But he hasn't done one in a while.
Yeah. It's like I can only think of Imperial Loyalists.
What is it about
Eldar.
this? Yeah. What is it about this Chaos Army that appeals to you?
Is that they're not necessarily
Just
adherent to any of the
They're
Chaos
renegades.
gods. They're
They're not-
renegades.
yeah.
Right. And so that pirate/renegade.
So you're just dipping your toe in the chaos pool.
Well, because like the other Chaos Army I had was Alpha Legion.
Yeah.
And the way I did it.
Right.
And I've said it before, but what I did is every model was a loyalist model, except there was one chaos model in each squad.
Again, dipped your toe into it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, because this whole thing about they're not really.
What I'm asking is, are you committed enough to get a chaos tattoo?
No, absolutely not. 100% no. Well, actually, sorry, back up. Depending on how you want to look at it, I already have one.
Which one?
My Alpha Legion one that's on my shoulder.
Yeah, it's chaos tattoo. I'm sorry to tell you.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Survey says chaos.
Anyway, and that was actually the first gaming-centric tattoo that I got.
That's
was
interesting.
That Hydra. Yeah.
Okay.
I always thought it was really cool how, because I saw, sometimes you'll see the shoulder, the pauldron with the paint scratch. You can kind of see the Hydra through the paint.
Yeah.
And
That
so
is cool.
It'd be kind of cool to put that on my shoulder. Anyway, and because it's covering up a different one, so it's kind of like the reverse.
Oh,
anyway, more information than you needed to know. And so yeah, because that list is going to be Huron.
His chaos star is his tramp stamp. Come back from that one.
So
I've been thinking about a second tattoo. Angrier and angrier.
So the list is going to be Huron and the Masters of the Maelstrom and 5 Chosen in
I think that's awesome.
In a Land Raider.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
It'll be them. And then I'm going to do 3 units of the Corsairs with the captain in a Rhino.
Yeah.
Nice.
Somebody was saying, "Oh no, don't get 3 captains because they're not really that good and they don't really confer that well to the." I said, I don't really care. It's the theme for me. And then the rest of the army, the rest of the points will go into the traitor guardsmen and the cultist mobs. and their characters, and that comes out to just about 2,000 points.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, but so it's the whole idea of just this raiding pirate force.
That's how I build my list too. Like I like this theme, and I kind of build around that. And then I go,
Exactly.
okay, it's struggling a little bit here. I'll adjust. But yeah, I need to get my chosen. I have them assembled and like initially primed, and then like my initial. I need to finish them up because
They hit hard.
but also I'm pairing Abaddon with Terminators, and that's the wrong answer because the Terminators have abilities already. Abaddon would confer
to them.
Yeah, and it's
You got redundancy.
it's a
built in
waste.
there.
Yeah, and so what you want is Abaddon conferring those abilities to
Something else.
chosen.
Yeah, to
chosen ideally. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was looking at Darcy Bono's tutorial she just recently put up about painting the Red Corsair's armor. And she puts a red, I don't remember if it's a speed paint or contrast, over Balthasar gold, so like an orangey metallic.
Yep.
To kind of
And it comes out glossy.
it looks pretty cool. Yeah, and she actually
metallic-y looking. Yeah.
yeah. and she
I'll
was
bring
saying-
my Thousand Suns Legion's Imperial stuff
He did very similar.
when we record next. Which it's all gold under and then clear red over that.
Yeah,
which
but
gets
and she was
cool.
very specific about using an orangey brass underneath the red to kind of give it that glow up, and
Little bit
then
warmer,
also and then putting maybe some gloss coat over it as well. Even
It looked cool.
So I might try that. That's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. Although I was thinking about doing it with a deep, like almost like a turquoise green or deep green, like a sea green instead of the red, but still over the orangey. I don't know how it's going to work. I might play around with on a piece of sprue or something to see if I like how that looks. I cleaned and assembled the entire Tomb Worlds set. I got one of the Tomb Worlds boarding action set. And I went through, there's a lot of gluing that goes on with that. And then also all the cleaning. You got to clean all the connection points and otherwise it's not going to go together very well.
I did half a boarding action and had to stop. So
Yeah, I actually did two boarding. I clipped out 2 boarding action sets. I only finished one of them.
Yeah, it is.
the mold
second-
lines just it's brutal.
The
Just
second
killed
one
me
is
on that one.
clean, but I didn't paint it. But yeah, this one there's more gluing, less cleaning. I think overall it took a little less time, but I did basically spend the most part of a day.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
I was home all day and just was working on that. By the end of the day, my hands were so tired.
Yeah,
so-
I was cramping hands trying to clean up the boarding action set. It's
yeah.
like, I need to take a break in.
But I like the way
It's
that
been
it
2
connects.
years.
Your notes, you're coming up on a note, but your notes made me realize, I ordered the Spire of Primus Orinthian Succession book, and it's sitting at the GW store. It's been there for weeks. I forgot. I need to go get this thing. Anyway. Your one coming up reminded me. I'm like, didn't I order something? And
Is this at the Los Gatos store?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta go pick it up.
Yeah. So then I also assembled the Warhammer Plus Spirit Seer.
This is the one that made me think, because I'm like, didn't I order the Warhammer Plus thing? Like, and it hasn't been delivered yet, so I'm curious where it's sitting.
Mine just showed up.
So did mine.
This week?
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe it's about to
we
show
went
up.
we went down to SoCal to see my granddaughter. Let my son and his wife go have a Valentine's date, and so we were down there. And I had, when you order it pretty far ahead, and so it still was shipped to the cafe.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I never changed the address on this order. So, but it worked out fine. I was down there, was able to go to the cafe. I was going down to Geeky Teas in Burbank anyway for our campaign meeting, which I'll talk about. I guess I could talk about that. That would make sense to talk about here. And then I'm trying to decide on the 500 Worlds campaign if I'm going to be playing Orcs or Aldari, because I just painted that avatar in Caleb's thing. So I thought, well,
Go Orcs.
with the Spirit Seer for that Warhammer Plus model, it's such a great model, but it's on a base that's too big for a Spirit Seer. Spirit Seer is supposed to be on a 25 mil base, and I think that base is either a 40 or a 50.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful base.
It's cool
but-
looking.
It's more,
and I was looking at, maybe I'll magnetize it, but I'm inspecting the base. I'm like, there's almost no way to easily magnetize this. So I'm not sure. I don't know how often I would ever use it.
I'd be curious
on
to
the big
take a look
base.
at it, because I was able to magnetize 2 of my sorcerers from Thousand Suns, so I could remove them from their discs onto normal bases, and I just very carefully drilled into their feet to do it. So I'd be curious to see how it fits.
Yeah, so his right foot is like, it's just like his toe that's connected, and it's not actually like on a flat spot. It's like on part of a curve.
It's gonna be tough.
And in the back foot, there's a little piece of a stone or something sticking up that's attached to his foot.
You know what? To hell with Eldar.
So it was like, So I was able to glue him to a 25 mil base.
Yeah.
Just lightly with super glue because I can decide.
You'll figure out later what to,
And if I decide to go orcs, I may just glue him to his base. I don't know.
Sense.
But so I worked on that, got that done yesterday.
Nice.
So I actually ended up doing a lot more than I had originally thought I was going to do. And then I had a big meeting with the rest of our crew. I call us the cafe cast-offs for the 500 Worlds campaign. So we, and this might dovetail into talking about, it's a campaign. It's not really apocalypse, although we may do an apocalypse game near the end. So there's 6 of us, 2 in each team, Imperial, Chaos, and Destroyers. And we're using the map and all the stickers. And Ethan, who's running the whole thing, did a fantastic job. He kind of wrote up a little cheat sheet for the steps that people need to go through for doing all the step off things.
Nice.
Because it is a bit of a process to get it rolling.
Yep.
And
it's really cool, actually.
Session 0.
Yeah, basically, it was a session 0. It took a little bit more than 2 hours with the 6 of us, and that's with a couple of us who had actually read it, and some of us who had not.
Who's running it?
My friend Ethan, down in SoCal. Okay. So Sean and Oscar and Luke and Brandon and Ethan and I all used to work at the cafe.
Yeah.
So the cafe cast-offs.
I get it.
And Sean is the guy who did the Night Lords with the hook, pulling the soul out of the guys, who actually got best painted at Palm Springs.
Nice.
Open for his squad. So some very talented people. Oscar has won a bunch of painting.
What was the unit that was pulling the soul out?
It's his, I guess it's his lord, the guy.
But what?
Night Lords.
Night Lords. Okay.
He's got a hook and
That's right. I remember it.
And he uses the hook to pull the souls out.
That's
and so
right.
he uses the Night Haunt as his cultists.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I remember it.
Yeah,
It's just
cool theme.
It's such a fantastic theme. He's working on some Emperor's Children stuff that's like crazy good too. But Oscar's also won a bunch of painting competitions. So having those 2 guys on the same team is just like, well, at least the Chaos was going to look the best. And Oscar's also a very successful RTT player, so that's going to be interesting. Brandon's playing Knights. Luke is playing Custodes. Luke's a buddy of mine who was my roommate at Grand Narrative, who was the Custodes player that I talked about before, I think. And then Ethan's playing Leagues of Votan. Mm-hmm. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do Aldari or Orcs.
You said that. I said do Orcs.
Yeah, so I'm looking at orcs mainly because they're mostly painted already.
That's always a good motivating factor.
Yeah. But Oscar and I ended up with both of our fleets over the same planet. And so the action that I chose was a boarding action game. So I started doing some research on boarding actions. I was talking about the Goon Hunter thing. They had a good article about orc boarding actions. And so I was like, oh, I've got all those models. That might be good.
Funny how that works.
What I don't have is Burna Boys.
Yeah.
And I'd love to use some Burna Boys on that.
Before we move on to games played,
some Burna Boys.
The other thing is we got to make more predictions because, like, before, man, did we hit it out of the park? Like, I had even messaged the 2 of you. I'm like, man, I'd really like to see this Defiler
I
model.
know,
get
Right, it was
upgraded.
less than 48 hours after you sent
Mutilators,
that message.
Defilers.
It's like everything we mentioned.
Somebody at Games Workshop is listening.
Dude, in 48 hours turning around an incredible model. Yeah.
Well, no, because they were going to put it out 6 months from now, but they're like, no, we got to do it now.
That Defiler.
The Defiler.
That's a nice improvement.
I'm going to have to get several of them because I'm going to have to get one for 1,000 Suns, one for Shell's Night Lords, one for my... At least one. I mean, who knows how good it is? They're going with new rules.
And one for the little kid who lives down the lane.
No.
Yeah, okay.
These are all
Sorry,
from me.
it was a little nursery song.
Man, you are old. Anyway, let's move on to games played.
Yes.
One quick question for you. Are you playing... All your games are against people in this group. So like
Yes.
you're flying down south or driving down every time to play a game for this campaign?
Yeah, so Geeky Teasing Games is in Burbank.
Yeah.
And it's less than 15 minutes, I think, from Burbank Airport.
Yeah, nice.
So I'll probably do a fly in, fly back for the games.
Nice.
And I mean, total time, it's actually less time than it took me to drive down here today.
Right. Yeah. It's
Maybe you
an
should
hour
fly down
flight,
here.
So, yeah.
I should fly down here, exactly.
Parachute out of the Southwest plane as it goes over my head. The flight pattern is right over my head.
It's free!
I thought about for Anthony's games that he runs up in Chico. Like he does so much cool stuff, but it's a 10-hour drive round trip. I was like, I wonder if I just drive to San Jose and fly up there. It was like,
Might be worth it.
It might be. I mean,
it's going to cost
money-wise,
more,
I was going to say,
but
if you don't fly for
time-wise,
free, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Games played. We're going to talk about our Apocalypse game. Let's talk about that last, because then that'll kind of lead into, and we'll probably allude to it throughout the whole Apocalypse discussion. But Josh, you played another game.
So the only other game I had
Non-GW.
was non Games Workshop, but it was another fun game of Trench Crusade with Jody, and we were having just a really good time leaning into the narrative of the Trench Crusade world and
My
super
book
thematic.
just showed up.
Yeah,
You're playing at Adepticon, Trench Crusade.
Yeah, I'm playing in the narrative single day campaign with the Basement of Death guys. For Trench
These are the
Crusade.
same guys that run the Space Hulk.
Yes, yeah. So I'm super looking forward to that day of just hanging out in narrative Trench Crusade in a day campaign with them. So that'll be cool. But we're just having a good time playing super thematic games with gorgeous looking models and tables, and it's been a really fun experience. So and
Very
it's
cool.
good to play games with Jody again because it's been a while. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then Don, you just talked about your 2 hours to set up the 500 Worlds game.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit. I wonder if we should talk now about this. Let's set the stage here, and then we'll talk about how the game progressed throughout the rest of the discussion here.
Yeah.
What our notes are.
That sounds good.
So for months, we had talked about running a very large game. We just wanted to get a ton of models on the table.
Yeah.
And this kind of grew out of control a little bit. It wasn't initially intended to be, I think we had like 5 or 6 players per side.
Yeah.
And initially it was just supposed to be like 2 or 3 per side, and it just grew. And so we ended up with a game where we had about 40,000 points on the table.
Yeah.
On both sides. So 20,000 points per side, which, it's fitting.
It's pretty good.
It's fitting.
It was a good size game.
In order to do that, I thought large enough tables would be 2 4x6 tables with a huge bridge attaching the 2 tables.
Yeah.
The bridge I've had forever and have wanted to use forever. We'll put up photos again. We have photos in the Discord and photos on Facebook, but I'll upload them all again so people can see them. But this is a huge, I don't know what gauge train bridge that we had, but it's massive. Like you could fit a Land Raider across the bridge.
Yeah.
And I had this thing. Somebody was throwing it out at some point, and I was like, nope, I will take that. And it is sat in my garage for at least 8 years. And so I
finally got its time in the spotlight.
finally got to use
Are you
it.
sure that's not the bridge that we used at Endgame
100% sure.
with the little slots on the sides?
100%.
No, okay,
sure.
because that one also was wide enough for
No,
Land Raider.
100% sure.
Okay, yeah.
I've had it in its foam case thing. Out in the garage
Okay.
forever.
Yeah, the other one was scratch built.
And so this we finally got to do that. And then the third table was what we called the Undercroft, and it was the sewers and everything below the city, which we used all my Zone Mortalis tiles for on
Forge
a
World ones.
4x6 table of the original Forge World Zone Mortalis table, which have all been painted up by Brian Harvey.
Brian painted
They're
those.
gorgeous.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
I had forgot to put the doors in, because I was going to put some doors. Turns out we didn't need
Didn't
that,
need 'em.
so that was fine.
Yeah, it looked like there was some pretty long shooting corridors.
As we set up, we came across a couple things. We were like, well, okay, here's the 2 deployment zones. We ended up extending those deployment zones because models just couldn't fit
We had
in
too
the
much
deployment
stuff.
zone.
Yeah.
I probably could have used another table.
Yeah, I think
is
we definitely
ultimately
could've.
what we could have used.
Yeah, agreed.
With that number of people and that number of points, yeah.
Yep. And so also things in the Undercroft are limited to 40 millimeter bases or smaller. So additionally, the mission objectives were pretty straightforward. You had 2 objectives per table on the outdoor tables, and then 1 on the bridge in the middle. The one on the bridge was
central.
worth 10 points. the 2 objectives on each table were worth 5 points. So, and they just sat in the no man's land area.
Yep.
And then on the Undercroft, there was one that was centrally located that was worth 10 points. And then one at each end, which were both worth 5 points as well. And there were a couple interesting rules we had there. There were hatches on the surface tables, which led to specific hatches in the Undercroft. So you could take units from the surface down or from below and bring them up top.
Reinforce above or below. And traverse through the tunnels.
We also allowed deep striking into the Undercroft. If you deep struck, though, you roll a deviation die and a d6. And if you could not deploy the unit old school style, meaning
concentric circles.
One unit gets placed on the point where you deep struck, you roll the deviation die.
One model.
You roll the deviation die and a d6. If it deviated and you could not deploy the full ring of models around that central model without hitting a wall, the whole unit was destroyed.
The whole unit?
Yep.
Not just those models?
No. It's too many units on the table. We just want to clear them out as quickly as possible.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense then. Yeah.
Speed everything up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Go big.
You want to do
home.
that
later, right?
That was our Master of Disaster dice that we used to use.
Right.
Yeah.
We made, and I even brought that up at one point, how you would run a thing where like earthquakes and stuff were happening.
Yeah.
And so, And so the game, the other thing we came up with was, and we went back and forth on this. Like a bunch of us were talking about it, where we were saying all units, even if they're shot off the table in the first turn, are going to get the opportunity to shoot back, and even fight back. And it became a little convoluted. And what we should have said, and we realized afterwards, was we should have said this applies only to super heavy.
Yep.
But next time we'll do that.
Yeah, any Titanic unit
worked it all
gets
out.
a turn to do its thing, even if it's dead.
Right.
Yeah. One of our big games, we did the similar thing where if something gets knocked off the table before it gets a chance to do anything, i.e. Titans, they get to walk back on.
Yeah, that might have been a good approach too.
Yeah. You get a second life.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
We kind of took inspiration.
It's the Age of Sigmar reinforcements rule.
We took inspiration from the latest version of the Apocalypse rules.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was a part of this game, which is not part of a normal 40K game, is, and let me preface this by saying, if you haven't watched the show Taskmaster on YouTube, I would highly recommend you watch it, especially the season.
To understand the next part of this show.
Especially the season that had Jason Mantzoukas in it, which is just amazing. But the concept of Taskmaster, the show, is that there is the Taskmaster, the man who's assigning various tasks to people, and his little sidekick guy, and Alex Horn. And Alex is actually the creator of the show, but he plays this subservient role to the Taskmaster.
Is he a small person that wears a white suit?
No.
Oh, okay.
And no, he's not. You're showing your age. He's not Fantasy Island Tattoo. And I'm showing my age now. And so and then what happens is they get 5 comedians on, and the 5 comedians compete in various tasks over a season. And it's hysterical. And then basically each episode they sit there and watch how the tasks played out. It rewards out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
And sometimes
you can take things very literally, or you can interpret them to your own justifications. And if you can justify it to the judge, it flies.
And sometimes it looks like a video from Aussie Man Reviews.
Yeah, it might. So what happens at the beginning of each task is everybody gets in a letter. They break the seal on the letter, and it says, here's what the task is. It describes the task, and it says, your time starts now. And then they'll ask questions about it, and the person will say, everything you need to know is in the task. And how they interpret it is how they interpret it. And so Tom and I had discussed this. We both love this show, and we had discussed, what if we did something like this for 40K? And we simplified it down a little bit, but basically what it boiled down to was this. If you destroyed a unit, you then got a task.
A red task.
A red task. And red because the seal that it was sealed with was red.
Individual wax seal. Yeah, it was really, really cool production.
Tom did all that work.
Yeah, that was nice.
I had written most of the tasks. Tom did all the printing out and then turning them into little scrolls. Letters. They were letters. Yeah, they were flattened. And so a red task, if you completed it, you did not lose a point. So if you destroyed a unit, you had the potential
A
of losing
penalty
a point.
task, yeah.
It's a penalty task. This was a balancing factor.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you had a unit destroyed, you drew a blue task. These tasks, if you completed them, got you a point.
Yeah. So you get a reward for completing a task and losing a unit, which will help you earn a point.
Right. A point. So it's a minor balancing factor where you have people gaining 5 points per round for each objective.
I was going to say the objectives are 5 points.
5 and 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the other rule was you could only have one task per turn, regardless.
Per player.
Per player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. It's a really cool variation of the secret objectives idea.
Yeah, except this gets even sillier because it was stuff like every time you roll a die, you must yell for the Emperor until the next, until the end of your turn.
You can only roll dice left-handed for the next turn.
And if somebody caught you rolling it the other way, they'd call you out on it and then either cause you to lose the point.
It had to be an open task.
Oh, you had to read the task out loud to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And then you had to do the action.
No secret, which made some of the more fun moments of the game.
Shell at one point had to keep one hand on her head at all times. And so she interpreted this, said, what if I draw a picture of a hand and then I clip it to my head? And Tom said, he was the taskmaster.
Yeah.
I will
allow it.
Yeah.
And so Shell got away with that. At one point, Josh got one where he's like, you have to cover one eye for the entirety of the rest turn. And he just said, well, we're just losing this point because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then the one that Sky had.
Sky could not refer to any model by their actual name
on the table. And so Josh lured him into it because he goes, okay, he's going to shoot this thing. And he goes, oh, what thing is he shooting? And he goes, oh, the monolith. And he goes, aha!
Oh my God.
It was really, really fun moments of, or then like Locke had something where he couldn't speak unless he was directly like questioned
or told he could speak.
Yeah. Sky was trolling his kid hard.
Yeah.
Oh, they were on different teams?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Locke really had a good time
that
too.
Was fun.
And so it was stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
It was fun. It was a little different. It wasn't necessarily time consuming until
low consequence, but added a nice extra element of
fun. Cheyenne had to say for the Emperor 30 times because he was rolling 30 dice.
Travis,
you have to do it for each die
in that one.
Travis had to salute every single model that was destroyed in a turn, and that was a 40,000 point game. That was a lot of
not
models.
just his model.
No. Every model on the board. For a turn.
If it got destroyed, he had to give a salute. I had to give like a 1 minute eulogy about one of my units that had died.
I had to describe a death. It was my warlord dying. I had to describe it as like it was a action movie sequence.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Shell had to mime the death of her last unit.
It was just fun things.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it actually added like I usually get concerned about putting things like that in because I don't want it to distract too much from the game. Aaron and I had to have a dice building dice tower building contest, and Aaron has like all large
heavy square metal dice.
Oh, does he?
His tower was huge.
He uses casino dice.
No, they're
metal.
He was actually telling me about his dice, which are pretty cool, but they're metal dice that are bored out, but the depth of the bore is so that they are like perfectly
balanced,
weight balanced, which is nice. Yeah.
So he stacked like it had to be like 12 inches tall. Like
it was
single tower, single dice. I'm over here trying to stack.
One die on top of another.
And as I'm stacking them, Shell goes, "Here's more dice," and knocks it right down.
I'm like, what are you doing? Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it didn't matter. He was way ahead.
My squig dice would not have worked. They would have bounced all over the place.
So it was all stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
you know what's cool about that also is that because some folks, I'm not going to name names, can get a little intense in their playing of a game, even if it's supposed to be a
Why are you looking
narrative
at me?
game. Because I don't want to say the name. I'm not going to lose that point.
Because he's avoiding looking at me.
No, that person's not in the room. And so it's kind of cool because
we know who you're talking about. It's Aaron.
It keeps it
Notorious
light,
power
right?
gamer.
It keeps people from getting too serious.
That
It
was
can
the
kind
point.
of break that kind of.
That's actually and that was kind of the objective.
Yeah, that's great.
Was to keep it light. It doesn't matter. I mean, we even set the tone at the beginning of the game. We goes, guys, if you're arguing over half an inch, just do it. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
A game at that scale, like it's not a tactical or strategic experience anymore. It is an experience. It's a showcase experience. Like embrace the fun of it.
That's a great showcase experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think you took one of the notes on me.
Movement.
Yeah, it's
barely mattered in this game. Like we were overrun so fast.
Yeah.
The game is the experience. It's not about the individual components and
hanging out with people.
Even there weren't even that many cool cinematic moments in the game.
No.
I mean there were of just because we were playing with cool toys that never hit the table. It's like, oh, okay, that dies, that flies in and dies, and and that was fun. And
my
and cool
Thunderhawk
cinematic.
Didn't explode like I wanted it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But there's just so much going on across the table that that really it's just about the overall experience itself. And it's putting,
what we
putting armies out on parade orders, going out there and
then removing
rolling some dice, having fun,
table.
and then and then pulling models back.
It was nice that people who were using some of my Thousand Suns or Demons or Chaos stuff could, the model died and they just carry it back over to the case and put it back in the case.
Putting it away.
Yeah.
So, I think mission accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a fun event. I don't need to play like that regularly.
Correct.
No.
I agree.
100%, I don't need to do that regularly.
It was a really cool spectacle.
Don, the game you ran 100 years ago now up at in game.
Which one?
The one where we had
the
the
one
paper
you,
cutouts.
the one you did.
Where I had my Ultramarines and my Thunderhawk
flying around the table.
We moved around more in that game.
Yes.
And it was very different. Everybody brought 2,000 points or whatever it was. We had lots of points on the table.
Yeah.
And just like I said, monoliths were taking up so much that they had to put at least 2 in reserve because there was
we couldn't
not
fit them
space
into
on the
yeah.
table.
Yeah.
But man, when you look at the pictures, you're like, oh, these look like how they picture 40K.
Yeah.
Right.
It mimicked the art.
Yeah.
It mimicked a Warhammer World display. Obviously it's not a diorama, but that kind of style of warfare, that scale of warfare was really cool to have Titans and Knights and infantry and Thunderhawks and you name it. It was all there.
It was super cool.
Yeah, the final APOC game we had kind of as a farewell to end game. Mm-hmm. It was actually not dissimilar in terms of we had 2 big tables on either end and then a table in the middle to act like a bridge, but it was actually an entire table.
Yeah.
So I think
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I think we ended up, it was either 6 or 8 tables total in use. And the deployment zones were huge and same kind of thing. It was just and we basically told people, try not to bring too much infantry. As much as possible, bring vehicles, bring Titanic units, bring stuff like that.
We had a lot of infantry.
Because the infantry stuff, it bogs the game down. Mm-hmm. B, it makes it really difficult in terms of movement and terrain, because you wanted to have really epic kind of cool terrain, and moving the models over it ends up making it difficult. And then in that case, what we did was in that center table, there was these big fortress walls. They were kind of
I remember those.
A nod to, they weren't the actual Forge World ones, but they were a nod to that. And so we actually assigned some players who didn't have a lot of other stuff. Their infantry models were basically assaulting, sieging the wall and defending the wall and stuff like that.
Nice.
Well, let's do it. So, look, overall, I think the day was a success. People set up Friday night where they could. Some people set up Saturday morning as we got started. We made it through 3 rounds, which is what we kind of expected. And honestly, it was...
You should plan for that.
It was a
be.
decisive 3 rounds.
Yeah.
The Necrons...
We could have done a 4th, but
the Necrons just obliterated us.
But in the underground table, Chaos did very well,
won
which
the
is
underground
not
table. Yeah.
Because Necrons could only shoot, but the corridors were small. And I was thinking about this afterwards. It's like, all of the assault-based Necron infantry are on 50 mils.
Oh,
not a single one of them could fit. In the,
and did you guys use boarding action rules for the Undercroft?
Nah, we just moved.
Okay, so you didn't use the model. You block your own model line of sight.
No.
It didn't matter. You know what was crazy was Tom's
corn running across
those
the board.
Corn guys are so freaking fast.
Yeah.
Those exalted dudes.
Exalted 8-bound. Yeah.
They were on the center objective in no time.
Yeah.
Because it's just first round, everybody was just
screaming and pulling their shirts off and being just nuts. Yeah.
First round was everybody just, we run.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody runs. Yep.
Yep. So it was fun. Yeah, the Chaos decisively took the bottom. Shell and I deep struck Terminators onto the Necron objective in the background. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like my guys deep struck, and they were within an inch of some Necrons and Giants. Like, well, they can't be within an inch. And I go, yeah, they can.
Yeah,
yeah,
They can today.
They can today. I made that call. We're going with it. And it was fine. China was like, oh, okay, but I mean, the upper surface was just dominated by the Necrons, just dominated.
Where the guns got to do their thing.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Then we'll talk about how these games kind of go, how you set them up, what our thoughts are on each of these things. So we'll be right back. All right, and we're back talking about Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, Apocalypse, when Apocalypse first came out, it came out with this massively oversized book. People had played humongous
The
games
first one was
of
an Imperial
40K.
Armor book.
Hold that thought. People had played massive games of 40K previously.
Yeah.
And basically, Games Workshop said, we're going to put rules to this. I don't think the first one was an Imperial Armor book. It was a book produced by Games Workshop. It was larger size.
I have it. Yeah, I have it.
And that Imperial Armor Apocalypse came out after that.
Really?
Yep. That book, which was 4th edition?
4th or 5th?
No, it was 4th edition for sure. It was definitely 4th edition. Because that's when you could buy that. Not only was it a release of the book and the rules, it was a release of kits that were like
9 Lehman Russes. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 Vindicators in a box.
Yep.
For significant savings on all these. 2 Land Raiders.
Yep.
The Land Raider Terminus was one of the models they came out with at that point. 4
extra that they weren't twin linked on the front, but it did have 2 more last cannons.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
But you're right. And then they were even selling like the Space Marine Company.
Yep.
As a whole thing.
Demi Company, I think it was.
It was a full company Space Marine.
Okay.
And it was like
yes,
$3,000.
Yes, actually, because I used that picture
as a one-click
guide.
It was a one-click.
It was a one-click. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, you've used the picture.
Yeah.
100
Marines.
Yeah.
So and vehicles and everything.
All the Armored Company. Yeah.
So what was interesting about it at the time wasn't just the rule set, which was cool in itself because now you had like these formation things that they added, but it was the hype around it and the deals. And I mean, people were, let's buy this box set and split up these things. And, and we played our first Apocalypse game mostly with unpainted stuff. And, and I thought the rule set was pretty decent overall. I mean, it did speed things up, but it was still 40K.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was still 40K.
And you guys didn't have any of the things that were taking advantage of the massive Apocalypse
Not
scale
at that time.
templates. The templates that rotate around each other.
That was
the 5th edition.
That was later.
Yeah.
It was later.
The next edition of Apocalypse came out with the pizza pie.
Are you sure it wasn't in this edition? I'm pretty sure it was that edition too.
And they had the cloverleaf cluster.
The cloverleaf. There was the one that would expand upon the
That
other.
was later, but yes.
Okay.
It was in that edition too.
And
you had almost
Hellstorm
the record sized template.
Yeah, the pizza plate.
And all these were green.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next,
have them.
The next edition, they were all blue, and they were that softer.
Right.
They weren't as cool plastic,
right?
Frankly,
and that's when they had the connected last templates that you could move around.
That's right.
For Thunderfire cannons and things like that.
That thing was a mess.
It was a pain in the butt,
but it was still cool.
It was cool. It was.
I'm not surprised we don't have templates in the game anymore.
And I had that huge flamer template.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that huge flamer template,
which was the bombing strafing run as well.
Yeah, or
like
or a couple of
flamer.
And I think because that was when they first came out from Forge World with the Bane Blade, and there was a couple other models that used it.
I think I feel like did the Warhound did with the Infernus cannon?
Yeah, Infernus cannon.
Yeah. I feel like the Bane Blade plastic model came out with the first
plastic.
Apocalypse.
I'm talking about
Yeah, I'm saying with the first Apocalypse, I think the Baneblade plastic was one of their big selling points at that time.
Oh, I thought it was the second Apocalypse. You could be right. Could be the
I'm
first.
pretty sure. Second Apocalypse comes out and it's fifth or seventh edition, sixth or seventh
Fifth or
edition,
sixth,
somewhere
yeah.
in there. And okay, it's kind of a redo of the same thing.
They had more formations in it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they
And
leaned into
I think
that.
that's when they also came out with the disaster tables.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the disaster tables were really, really important because they took care of a problem that we ran into with the earlier edition.
Talked
which
a little
is,
about this earlier.
Yeah, where you have too many units on the table, things don't get taken off. You shoot a unit, you don't kill the whole thing. So now that you got this unit of 3 guys running around or whatever. And these disaster tables had things like seismic activities or orbital bombardments or all these other things.
Meteors coming down.
Yeah,
From this,
and we called it the Master of Disaster table. There was a couple different ones depending on what area you were playing in.
Planetary type.
Yeah, planetary type, because you had not quite death worlds, but pretty close to that.
Yeah.
And so you'd roll a die and there'd be something happen. And the whole point of it is to start to clear the table.
Yeah, it'd be like these, units roll a d6. That's how many mortal wounds they take, or equivalent of mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Unsavable wounds or whatever.
Right. Remove that many models. That many models are destroyed or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was, and it helped to clear the table.
It really
It
did.
helped speed things along
It
to
really
complete
did.
a game.
In the event that you ran, the up-and-end game that I played in with the Thunderhawk, like it really did. Now, some players came with the wrong attitude and got really butthurt about losing models like that. And it's like, well, this is what you can expect.
Right, and
Showcase
that's why it's really
experience.
important. And we tried to
Set the tone.
Set the tone. You set the tone and say, hey, don't get too connected to any one model or unit because they could fall into a chasm and die.
Yep.
Which is actually, telling on myself, the very, very first game that we did, it was an Apocalypse game at the store. I wasn't running it, but it was the first time we did a large scale game like that. And I think I told the story before. I had a Land Raider with a bunch of Grey Knight Terminators in it. And I think it was like 400 points of models or whatever. And for the first, I'd never ever seen this Eldar Revenant Titan before.
Oh, those
and
things.
it pointed one of its fingers at it, and I had to take it off the table.
Yep.
And I didn't get to do anything with it. It was the first thing he did on the first turn. And he brought this model that nobody had ever seen before, and didn't know that you had to prepare for that. And I was like really mad. I'm like, okay, that's like a quarter of my army or half my. And I was like, yep, take it off the table. So you really have to change your outlook on a game like that. Is that you're just gonna be picking stuff up.
Different expectations of what you're getting out of a game like that. Like,
Right.
It really is the experience in the showcase and telling a narrative, hopefully. And it's not about those individual moments. And
Right. And I was a fairly inexperienced player in terms of my time in the hobby. And so what I should have been focusing on is, oh man, look at this Titan. I've never seen one in person. I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
And I see this on the table, like, oh, this is really cool. I should have been focused on that and not focus on the fact that he basically pointed at me and then intentionally.
Right. So then after that, we get the latest and last version of Apocalypse that is currently out there, which came in a box. There were cards associated with that. Every army got
8th
cards.
edition.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Every army got cards.
Yep.
Might have been 9th.
It was 8th. It was after they changed the style of no facings, no templates.
Yeah. Well, it definitely was.
Post index.
Yeah, post index.
Every army got cards that were for all of their units. There were Forge World cards. There was everything. And this played entirely different than 40K.
Yeah.
It is its own game.
And they made their own movement trays.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Movement
25,
trays
32, and 40
for
mil.
circle bases, not
circle bases.
square
Yeah.
lockups. But this also used the damage chit mechanics. So everything got to survive for a turn before, and then all damage was removed at the end of a turn.
It took a page from
Older Epic.
Yeah.
Older Epic.
Yeah. Was it you and I that played this, or Jody and I that played?
I think it was Jody.
I think it was Jody and I played a game of this, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
It's a great rule
worked,
set.
It worked really, really well.
Yep.
And I'm disappointed that it was somewhat abandoned after that.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that, because Games Workshop is not supporting it anymore.
Right.
However, there are communities that still support it.
Sure.
There's subreddits that
Same with Mordheim.
do it for an Apocalypse 40K subreddit. There's a Warhammer 40K subreddit. There's some GitHub stuff out there where you can find community
cards
built
and stuff,
cards. And by the way, those cards are still available. The GW ones are still available on Games Workshop site. You can still download them and print them out.
Oh, as downloads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah, unfortunately, units have changed since then,
Right.
and so not all units are represented,
It's a Legends game format.
yeah,
It's walking the green mile.
yeah. That's a good, that's a good way.
That's a good reference.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the lesson I took from it was I kind of understood why 40K or why Games Workshop stopped going down that path. I'm sure the initial sales are pretty good, but then after that, it drops off significantly.
Right.
Yeah.
People tend to not play 40K this way often.
Yep.
And
Correct.
so how much do we really want to invest as a player? How much do I really want to invest in buying these rule sets or these things or whatever?
It's a huge time commitment. It's a huge model commitment. Like having enough models to justify an Apocalypse game, you're either bringing a ton of people together, which makes it less and less likely to happen because adult lives and schedules, or you need a few individuals that have collections large enough to justify this style of gameplay, which is I think a lot of people these days are collecting, maybe 3,000, maybe like 3,500 points of an army and moving on, if you even get that high.
Yeah.
Because more people, I think, are more interested to play multiple armies at this point because there's so much variety in the game now.
Correct.
As
I agree.
New factions have been released, than versus having one massive collection and 8 of everything. Because again, like even the game itself now doesn't allow you to have more than 6 units of a battle line or 3 units of anything else. So there's not really a reason to have that many things in a collection. Yeah.
So one of the things I think part of it is also, so you talked about Apocalypse when it first came out. There was all these cool boxes. They had all these multiple things. It was a good value that's going on a box together. They have basically retrained us as a community, as a buying community, to think in terms of Battle Force boxes. So there aren't these Apocalypse formation boxes anymore, but they have these Battle Force boxes that they're doing regularly, where you're not getting a full 2,000 point army or a full 1,000 point army, but you're getting kind of a themed set of models all in one box. It would be kind of cool if they would release that and say, here's an Apocalypse formation for this box, right?
I think
that you're seeing a lot. I mean, some of these boxes fly off the shelf incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And so they kind of retrain people into like, oh, these boxes are a great value. Oh, these boxes are a really good theme for this army. And so I think that the excitement that we got from those Apocalypse boxes has transferred over to these Battle Forces, and they don't have to worry about supporting all this game design in the middle.
So 2 points there. And I'll come to the apples to oranges comparison I think you just made in a second. But the point I was going to make is not only as a community do we not really support Apocalypse, meaning like this is not the standard way we typically play. You don't have to, your armies are limited in what you can deploy on them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It also takes resources away from game design when they're spending time.
That's part of my point. Yeah.
Developing these rules for the minority of way people
A pretty
are
small
playing.
percentage of the games being played.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it would be nice to get a Apocalypse sheet for a Battle Force box, but they don't need to, because the hype around the value in that box or the new models, a lot of the times you'll get models that are only featured in that box for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, here's the apples to oranges comparison I think you're making though, is when these Apocalypse boxes came out, the game itself was completely different in the sense that like I wasn't buying a Battle Force box that was like, oh, this is its own kind of unit. Like I was buying literally, this box has 3 Vindicators in it.
Yeah.
This box has 2 Land Raiders in it. Like those were this box has 3 Chimera, vehicles in it. I mean,
It actually had one. It was an armored company.
The armored company. Okay.
Right.
But it was interesting that they just took what they already had, repackaged it in these sets. A lot of times you had no need for this box of 6 rhinos.
Right.
And so the game itself, though, was different
babe, it
in
was
the
on
way
sale.
you could build. The game itself was different in the way you could build stuff too.
Yeah.
Sure. What I'm saying is that same, but you have people who are buying some of these Battle Force boxes who may already have a bunch of Zangors, but they want those 2 characters without having to wait
Without
for
a
6
doubt.
months to get them out. And so,
Without a doubt.
and so they've kind of retrained us in terms of buying these quote unquote value boxes. And by the same, it's just a repackaging of a bunch of other kits into one thing.
Yeah, that is true. This was.
And they don't have to, as you were saying, they don't have to do the game design support behind it.
Are we talking the Battle Force boxes or the Spearhead boxes?
Combat Patrol.
Combat Patrol.
No, Battle Force boxes.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
you're
I'm
getting-
sorry, I was thinking Combat Patrol.
No. The
My
Battle
fault.
Force boxes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which are much larger than
Much
Combat
larger.
Patrol.
Like
You're
the one
right.
that just came out.
You're right. They usually release them around the holidays too, especially there's
They used to call them Christmas boxes,
Yeah.
but they're doing them now throughout the year.
interesting. Well, they did just release like all the Chaos ones at
Right.
one time as they were heading into the holidays.
Well,
Right?
and
Was that after
and
holidays?
since
And they're good themed forces with
Right, and one just
a
came out
decent
last-
discount.
It is a
last
great
weekend.
way to start your army.
Absolutely.
Too.
yeah, and like I said, the hype around those, and you get people who are you can get somebody who's interested in Thousand Sons buying that Thousand Sons box, and also you can entice the existing Thousand Sons players because these 2 characters that are in that box,
Yeah, of course.
you can't get anywhere else. And it's a new sculpt, and I don't want to wait 3 months, so I'm going to buy this box anyway. And guess what? They didn't actually save any money.
You know what? They didn't train me.
Yeah.
I resist those.
Yep.
Oh, it won't be out because it's coming out.
It'll be out
Yeah.
eventually.
Oh yeah.
I'll
I
get
mean,
it when it comes out.
occasionally, like
I cannot be trained, Adon.
well, no, like, occasionally, like the Judiciar
Yeah.
never came out as a separate model.
You can get a Judiciar now.
I don't think so.
You would know more than I would.
I'll look.
All right.
I'll look.
You would know more than I would, but that's an interesting point.
There
Okay.
are-
Because that was a starter box and still
yep.
hasn't released
All right.
individually. It's possible.
Regardless, this is the state Apocalypse sits in now from official GW support, but we can still run larger games.
Yeah,
we just
absolutely.
showed how we ran larger games. And I like the term you used, which was
Showcase
event.
Yeah.
for sure.
I think that hits it because as we found, the game doesn't scale quite to that level
Yeah.
very smoothly.
Using the regular 40K rules.
Yeah. Not just because it takes a long time to do things, but like the balance begins to break down
Very quickly. Especially when it's I go, you go, not a
Yes.
alternating active game. Like, yeah,
And
that
put a pin in that because I want to talk about
Yeah,
that.
we can definitely talk about that. So when you're designing an event like this, we've kind of hinted around the thing, but you need to think like a GM,
Yep.
a game master,
Absolutely.
not a tournament organizer.
Yes.
Can't be more clear that the outcome of the game is secondary to just having fun.
Experience.
Yeah.
To the experience.
Yes.
Yeah. We like to start generally with kind of a storyline, like why are the armies here? This is because we're narrative players. And what does winning mean narratively? Like in this particular case, we didn't really delve into the narrative real hard other than here's what's going on this planet and this is why we're fighting. But we're at some longer term thing I might think about,
Apocalypse game like this is a cool, if you have a campaign you're running or even like a crusade league or something, and it's been more thematic on like what factions are there, like putting something like this together for the kind of crescendo ending, like
ending,
it's
yep.
it's
Or
a cool
ding,
thing
ding,
to
ding,
do.
ding.
or the kickoff beginning,
Or the kickoff. Yeah.
Either way.
right? The kickoff beginning.
Here's the big fight, and now you have these small little war bands of what survived
that have broken off.
Go out and prosper
that's
as much as you can.
That's an interesting idea. We always think of apocalypse games as kind of the end, but
Yeah.
sometimes it could be the beginning.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
and I might add, because
look at Istvan.
because it's not necessarily balanced hugely well at that scale.
Yeah.
You can assign like, okay, well, whatever side wins the apocalypse game, gets a +1 on their initiative roll for the first game they play. Each player gets a +1. Nothing that's dramatically swingy.
Yeah.
And then you move on from there. I would encourage you not to base that. That's what I would hate to have it the game end and resolve the whole campaign based on an apocalypse game that's inherently going to be unbalanced.
Right.
Right. One of the reasons you see apocalypse games end up being the crescendo event is because a lot of times you'll see them paired with escalation leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's a way for everybody to show everything they've done over the course of that
building and
time.
painting
great
up to
point.
that.
And so that's that's kind of why you see it, especially like in stores. But that's it, But I like the idea of you do it as your start off event. The problem is that sometimes people are using that campaign or that narrative
to build up. Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. So you want to define the scope. At this case, what we did was I went and totaled up all the chaos stuff I had. Tom totaled up all the chaos stuff he had. We were the only two real chaos players, and we said, okay, we've got about 20,000 points between the two of us. Okay, Necron side, you guys, amongst your players, you have 20,000 points, split it up however you want.
Yeah.
How many players were we going to have each side? Well, as I said, this grew a little out of control.
Right.
More people wanted to be involved. I had a hard time turning people away. And eventually we were just like, okay, here's the players for the Necron side, because these guys have Necrons. We know they have Necrons.
Right.
And then I really wanted Locke, Sky's son, to be involved and feel included. So we included
Also a
him,
Necron player. So.
who is also a Necron player. We have bought him Necron stuff for Christmas stuff.
Nice.
And incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Super focused on what he's doing. And a joy to be around.
Yeah, he's a solid player and a good kid.
Yeah. And so he was invited, which Sky, I think, really appreciated. We told, okay, Sky, you be on our side and you'll run the demons. And so, one of the things I was concerned about, we talked about the table layout and the philosophy behind that. But one of the things I was concerned about was I had players on the chaos side. Tom and I are the only experienced chaos players who I was like, these guys don't know how to play chaos.
Right.
I will run the Thousand Suns because those are the most confusing of all the chaos guys.
Highest learning curve. Corn's easy.
It actually is.
Black Legion was pretty straightforward. Like I told Steve,
Just always be dark back.
always be
That's all
dark
you need to know.
pack.
Go.
This is what it does. Just do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how do these things work in synergy with it? You know what? Don't worry about it too much. Just run forward and attack stuff.
Not the game to
Steve had
to care
actually
that
done a bunch of kind of research and had read up. And so he felt pretty strong on that. And then we basically did Shell's Night Lords just like the Black Legion, built out that same force. So like they had essentially the same rules. And I thought I was going to be answering a lot of questions throughout the day. Nope. Like they took it and ran with it. I was super impressed.
Data sheets definitely help with that.
Yeah.
Just having the information available in multiple places for a game that size worked out well too.
If I had to do it again, I would have printed out all the data sheets for them as well. I just didn't have time.
I supplied my army and I also supplied an army for Jamie. So I made sure to bring out the cards for him to use for easy reference. Like here, like I made this army with the fewest different types of units possible.
Yep.
Here are your cards. Go for it.
We had a few things where people asked questions and stuff, but I will say, we had set up, we had set expectations that this wasn't matched play. Stop worrying about it. Like even the weeks leading up to it, at one point, Aaron was like, "Oh, over on the Necron side, they're trying to decide this, that, and the other thing." And I told Cheyenne, I go, "You're thinking too hard about this. We haven't even met as the Chaos players at this point. Like we're literally just like, here's your armies."
He was thinking of, did we all have to run one detachment? So like if somebody needed to leave, are we all using the same detachment?
Makes sense.
And in our game, I didn't even use detachment.
When I started talking to him, he's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
This is that makes sense. Yeah. But Cheyenne was the one guy that I was like, he's going to be focused on how units have synergy. And I'm like, it's too much. And that's one of the fallouts of 40K at this scale.
Yeah.
Is like that synergy. Like,
well, that's what it's like. This is not a tactical or a strategic game. Like this is a showcase.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to do the smart little like tactical maneuverings and things like that, it doesn't matter because there's so much stuff on the table. Like that's cool. If that's what makes you happy, hey, do that. But in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter.
But also, we don't have a lot of time.
We also don't have a lot of time.
So please just do your thing.
Also of note, which we haven't touched on yet, we were syncing all of the turns together. So even if there was a little bit of variety on different players, because you kind of naturally,
meaning somebody had gone finished movement phase.
Yeah.
But we hadn't finished movement phase. You got to wait till everybody finishes.
We're waiting for everybody.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
we
you're
used to
gonna
do timed phases all the time.
So it's one
10
large
minutes to move,
interconnected
go.
game.
Anything that's not moved by then, tough.
We didn't time anything in this case. Everybody moved very quickly.
That's good. Yeah, you have to read the room, right?
We had set up, I think we started playing by 10. The intention was to start by 9. People, late traffic, blah, blah, blah. We started playing by 10. And then I think at noon we went and got lunch.
Yep.
And we were done with like turn 1.
Yeah.
So 2 hours was not too bad.
2 hours for 40,000 points.
No, it's not
I've
bad
seen
at all.
people take
Game.
2 hours to do a 2,000 point.
Yeah,
turn.
right. Yep.
Oh.
And
It was about 2 hours a turn, which was pretty solid for that scale of a game.
and honestly, by the end of the third turn, it goes
faster.
As I said, well, it does go
was going
faster for sure.
Yep.
But it was also like we were tired. We were tired. We were tired by
The
that.
fun had been had. We didn't need to mop up chaos. It was fine. Like we definitively reclaimed our.
We sealed all the hatches down to the underground and just hid down there.
That's where we came from. We woke up and came up.
That's what I was going to say earlier.
It was a different planet.
It's kind of ironic that they all come up out of the tombs. But
Actually,
Chaos took over the tombs.
the story was Chaos had just taken over this planet, and then the Necrons had arrived.
Necrons wake up.
Oh,
They didn't wake up on the planet. They arrived.
It's interesting having some kind of overriding story is cool if you can, especially if you can work it into those tasks.
Yeah.
Or if you can work it into your, like we used secret objectives when we did ours. And if you can work it into the story that you're trying to tell, that again, brings everybody back into that idea of that. No, we're not here to figure out if that was 3 inches or 4 inches. We're here to tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Table size.
Yes.
So making the battlefield epic.
Yeah.
And I set out to have like a theme. One part was the ruined city. The other part was the desert outside the city,
outskirts,
connected by the large bridge.
Yeah.
And I picked those two themes because that's what I had the most terrain for. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because you need large blocking line of sight, blocking terrain, and to at least provide some semblance of cover.
No, I mean, as long as you have the
Semblance.
paintball field, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, had we played with GW L-shaped tournament layouts, it would have been a very different game because of the way like line of sight blocks completely, and this was more fun and thematic.
Oh no, the way it's much better to have the
Match
epic
play
looking-
is like a cagey hiding turn one game, and then like who's gonna go for it?
This was
step
turn
out, and
one
this was-
assault.
This was turn one.
Oh
recursion.
yeah, no, you want to have these really cool looking terrain features, cool buildings.
Why do
big
I want
rocks.
to spend another 2 hours
Yeah.
on another turn because you haven't assaulted yet?
Right,
Let's just get it over with.
Let's get to the fun part.
We had thought we're going to race forward and get onto the bridge and try to hold the bridge. We did not win initiative. That did not work. And then they deep struck a monolith onto the objective of the bridge. It was like because the bridge was big enough to hold a monolith plus other units.
It's a big bridge. Yeah.
It was huge. And they were like, well, we've lost that objective because we can't even take out this one monolith over here. We keep firing stuff.
We had lots of wounds in a wall of monoliths.
So yeah, you want big line of sight blocking terrain.
Yeah.
You want multi levels of buildings so units can be on buildings. You want to make it the showcase game.
Yeah.
You want to make it thematic. You want to make it epic. And when I look back to like our original Apocalypse game that I was talking about when the Apocalypse rules first came out.
Yeah.
Terrain was in sparse. Like we didn't have a lot. We put out what we could. There was no theme to it. There was nothing.
Right,
it was,
right.
But
Whatever
we did
you owned,
We
right?
did with what we
Fill a table with what you can.
It's funny
and
because
it's fine.
I go back and I look at some of those pictures. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
there's nothing on this table, or
Yeah. Well, it's funny because
15 years later, things have progressed.
yeah, I mean, if you
we're
look
pretty
at
spoiled.
the old boiler room games, the pictures of that, and then you look at what you guys, when we were setting up the tables for the first flex, first day of the flex, no, you need some more on there. No, you need some more on there. I'm like, there's not going to be room to put any models. Carl comes by, put more terrain on it.
Perfect. Right.
What?
That's right. That's right.
But I think that also one of the ways that you can leverage that is not everything comes on first turn.
Yeah, we did have a small contingent of reserves, but you're right. Like we didn't necessarily have to
or
go
you have
that
to
route.
or you have stuff rolls on for turn one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If there was
So-
more like just table space too for reserves, that was something that I was like, okay, if you're not doing all Titanic things get to survive turn one no matter what until they're like they get to act before being pulled, then like that's a good thing to reserve.
In hindsight, we should have had a third board.
Yes.
Top level third board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that we have done in the past is
Movement might have mattered at that point.
like you have your deployment zone with a line of vehicles or whatever, and they do their first move, and then you have other units that walk
roll
on that
behind
same
them.
Turn.
Yeah.
Oh, the same turn.
Yeah.
Same turn.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and they roll on turn 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah.
It's because like you have all your infantry on the table.
problem with
you
that
have them
is-
all run forward, and then your tanks roll on the board.
The problem with that is Chaos couldn't even move forward enough after we got assaulted first turn.
We locked them in their deployment.
Yeah, we were pretty stuck.
Those aggressive Necrons.
It was brutal. It was brutal. So
The other thing to point, not just the terrain that you need, but this is also a great opportunity to bring out those models that don't get to see play in those regular games of like at a 2,000 point
and that
game
actually
of
makes
40K. When are you bringing a Thunderhawk?
Yeah.
When are you bringing a Seraptic Heavy Construct?
Right.
Those are a quarter of an army. So like this is the time for them to shine. Like your Warlord got to be on the table. Warhound.
Yes.
Warhound Titan.
For a turn.
It got to shoot.
Got to shoot once.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty ineffectively too.
I mean,
that's part of that making the table feel epic.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Having those things on the table, they become part of the scene.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
They're exactly.
And that's why if you ever get a chance to go to one of the Titan owners clubs, Titan walks, or the Titan battle thing at Adepticon,
Titanicus.
I mean, just seeing all those, like you were saying, you don't almost never get to see that.
I played in the first Adepticon Titanicus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was fun.
And that's why you take a lot of photos. Because having those things on the table really does get that feel of it being epic, Forge World style, Warhammer World kind of feel to it. And
when you see the pictures of this, as we post on, like you'll see, by the way, the rule was every model had to be painted.
Yeah.
Like there was no unpainted models allowed on the table.
Yeah. I mean,
and true to form, Locke was painting the night before to get his army fully done.
He's now a true gamer.
He's officially
a true gamer. Yeah. At Grand Narrative, when I had a list with the Warhound and a list without, and I gave my opponent the choice. You can face it or not. Totally up to you. All 6 of them enthusiastically said, "I never get to see that on the table.
Yeah.
Put it on the table."
Nice.
So yeah, this is as you're setting the theme for the table, though. This is where you want to like have specific like anchor points. You want to have things in our game. Originally I had thought I'll make this building will be this objective and this building will be this objective, or this landing pad will be an objective. And finally I moved away from that just because I saw how crowded everything was going to be. And I just said, you know what, we're going to simplify the mission here.
Yeah.
The original mission had you picking up and moving objectives. And I just thought, this is too much. Let's just go straight down the middle and make life easy on all of us.
And landing pads are great. Crash Thunderhawks are great.
Yep.
There's a lot of cool ways to do objectives on the table. And I think it's definitely, if you had more table space.
Yeah. If I'd done a third table, I could have brought out the Forge World tiles.
The Crash Thunderhawk.
Crash Thunderhawk.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, well,
Next time.
it's painted like a salamander thing.
Good.
I was making fun of Jeff at the time.
Yeah, it got shot down.
And then you could break down each of those tables into various theaters or zones where they have unique rules if you wanted to go that far. In this case, we did not.
Too many moving parts for a game that size.
Yeah, again, I think you want to keep it as simple as possible.
Yep.
If you had multiple people not playing but running the game, you could get away with that.
Yes, you'd have to have somebody managing each table, and or
Bouncing between two.
if you had the tables not necessarily directly connected,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
affecting each other.
Yes.
So that's what we did with the G3 Santa Cruz events, is that we had the Relentless Despair, which was a Space Hulk battle.
I remember.
Right? And that would affect tables down below, but it could be asynchronous at that point. And that was 20 people playing a game with one dedicated game master.
And we
that was just
did
running
one
the
time
events,
where there was a central building that was a missile launching control unit.
Yeah.
And you could launch the big pizza plate templates onto the other table that had the big bridge on it.
Yeah.
And so you can do stuff like that, but as you say, you have to have people who are specifically managing those things at the various tables.
Right. Yeah.
One thing too to take into account in these games, the bigger vehicles, the super heavies and that kind of thing, often have weapons that range beyond your table.
Yes.
So it's really kind of cool when you're shooting like a table that's not even, you walk over, this thing's being shot. So it's kind of nice in a way to have things that can take advantage of that long range.
And flyers have an infinite range of their flight now. So it's like, if you angle it right, you can fly across 3 tables.
We had like 3 or 4 hell drakes on the table at one point. I mean, everything got shot down.
But it's cool to see them out there, right? I mean,
but it was cool to see them out there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think it's a little bit farther down in the notes, but there are certain rules modifications you can make that help facilitate some of those things.
Okay, so let's do this. We've talked about kind of the setting and staging that we did, as well as maybe tossed out a couple ideas. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and then we're going to talk more about structuring the game so it doesn't slow down and how you can kind of make it feel more personal and deal with super heavies and that kind of thing, and kind of adjudicating on the fly stuff. So we'll be right back. We are back, still talking about apocalypse size games anyway.
Yeah.
And so one thing we touched on briefly was making sure the first turn doesn't crawl.
Yeah.
Make sure time doesn't crawl
Right.
during these. Don, you mentioned that you guys timed each of the phases.
Timed phases, yeah.
How did that work?
Yeah, and we, obviously this is a topic or a game style that the independent characters like. We've had a couple of episodes where we've talked about apocalypse games, so I don't want to, for people who listen to me talk about this before, I don't want to be too boring about it, but yeah, we would time the phases. So you have 10 minutes to move, go. You have 10 minutes to shoot, go. And if you don't do it in that time, you're done.
You're stuck where you are.
You're stuck where you are.
Yeah, it did force you to move like your most important units you wanted to move.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Quickly.
Prioritize what matters, and then it's
kind of cool.
what you have time for. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's a way to get people who get into analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
To keep moving.
Add a little extra time on there for melee combat because it takes longer because it's interactive.
Right.
It's both players.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we do 10 minutes moving, 10 minutes shooting. I think it was 15 or 20 minutes, and then you're an hour for half a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
meaning one whole side is gone.
One round.
And I'll talk about variation of that in a minute. But yeah, and then you can use things like you can either use a timer that's on the board, like you see at events, or you can use chess clocks, or you can. There's a lot of different ways to do that timing, but it really points out to people we got to go.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Sets the expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have here in the notes like some alternatives because one of the things you mentioned earlier too, Josh, was that the I go, you go activation kind of breaks down at like 10,000 points, 20,000 points.
Before there, it definitely does then.
Yeah, I mean, things just start getting taken off the table.
Yeah.
The thing is you can...
Especially not playing with match play style terrain with just these like limited firing lanes and just infinitely dense line of sight blocking terrain that are all over the board. Like you really want to set up the board differently if that's what you're looking for. But that's very arguably not this game.
Yeah. So, I mean, some things you can do there are, as we talked about, Don was mentioning, you could have half the force come on with the second half coming on, right behind them in the first turn. You can do various zone-based activations. One of the things that you did, Adon, at that early game that I talked about was the deployment zones were set in such a way that people were forced into an area, and then you were just controlling your set of your army effectively. I don't remember even what size army we brought to that game.
I think everybody brought 2K.
Yeah, something like that.
But there was like 16 players.
Yeah, there was 6. It was quite a few players.
I think something to that point, it's good to note that to run games most efficiently, you either want to keep your stuff consolidated to where you're going to be, so you're not jumping around the table in a bunch of different places, or you're okay handing off these models, be like, hey, I want this unit to do this thing over here.
Yeah.
But what you can drive this. Like I'm going to be focusing on the main force.
One thing I did consider in the game that we were running was on the top, maybe one table had first turn and the other table had first turn on a different side. So you had alternating kind of turns there. And we ended up just sticking with what we did.
Yeah. I mean, getting out of phase. You were talking about keeping the lower
That's
side out.
my concern. Yeah.
Getting out of phase ended up being a real problem with which was basically an apocalypse-sized game that we did at the War on the Shore narrative.
Yeah.
Is that we had that big T-shaped table with whatever it was, 8-10 players on it, and unfortunately, we ended up out of phase on the different tables, and so it really kind of messed up the experience for several people. So
Yeah.
the one idea that I have,
before you move on from that, like one of the first events I played in at a GW store was a massive battle, and it was Tyranids versus whatever.
They always do mega battles. Yeah.
And like my things all moved forward, and then the shooting happened, and then they were like, "Okay, your guys' turns over." I'm like, "Wait, my guys haven't even assaulted yet." Hi, Kiro. That's smart. That's our new dog who seems to not like people with facial hair, and so barks at.
And Josh has some magnificent facial hair.
I do have a mighty beard.
Yeah, you do, Josh and Adon. So thank you for saying hello, Kiro. Kiro is a new Siberian Husky.
Kiro's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
He is. He'll get there. He'll get comfortable with you guys. And so anyway, that was one of the frustrating things for me. I was like, I never got to get my assault units into assault.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, my whole army is assault.
Right. That's a mistake. That's a mistake of the person running the event.
It was.
Because
So I didn't want to repeat that mistake was my point.
Yeah. And that's why we timed the phases and not the turns.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's smart.
One of the other options that you can use, and I've used it pretty effectively, is you have people set up in their different areas, and then you pass out tokens, and A, B, C, or 1, 2, however you want to do it, and then you randomly select. Okay, everybody who has an A can move now, and so they may be on different sides or whatever. But all the players that have A can move. All the players that have B now can move. All the players that have C now can move. Then you re-randomize it every time. Okay, everybody who has a B can shoot.
Interesting.
And so that it causes people to, that way everybody stays engaged.
Yeah.
Right? And
So that would be on either side?
On either side, right? So what I did, the one event that I did this recently, or not recently, but within the last couple of year and a half, I did it with odds and evens. So I passed out numbers to everybody and say, okay, odd numbers can move.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what team you were on or whatever. If you had an odd number, you could move your models. And then everybody throw your stuff back in the bin, pull out another number. Okay, everybody who's got an even number can shoot.
An interesting thing about that too is you got to realize now you're not moving in reaction necessarily.
Right.
You are, but maybe on an individual unit basis,
right?
As opposed to. And
the other thing we did is we interspersed teams in between. Not all the team was not all on one side.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So you were deployed around, like that semicircle game that you played.
You were fighting people across from you to your left and right.
Right. You didn't know necessarily. I mean.
Oh yeah.
You knew before the game started,
right? Because what we did is we drafted positions basically, or assigned people randomly, basically, but positions. And then what we set up was we set up almost like lanes where turn one, you may not shoot the guy directly next to you.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
So you're not obliterating. You can't say, hey, buddy, let's just eliminate this guy in between us.
Yeah. So that guy with a Grey Knight's Land Raider. Let's take him out.
We'll do that on round 2.
So you can do little things like that to break up the movement. The I go, you go.
Yeah. I like
do your turn.
idea.
I'll go get a sandwich thing.
And as we found in our game, like all these things, because they're not inherent in the game, tend to get a little clunky when the rubber hits the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is why I like your idea of timing the phases.
Yeah.
That's probably the most elegant solution to it.
Yeah,
because it forced the players to be like, I want to make sure that this is there. If everything else doesn't, this is the one thing or two things I need to get moved. So I'll haul, and it lit a fire under our butts in that game.
Yeah, and I think that that other method of the random groups moving and shooting also worked well because people, I'm moving now. Oh, I'm shooting now. It wasn't clunky.
Yeah.
It was just like you didn't know when it was going to happen.
So what happened in Assault?
And it was the same thing. Okay. The group B or whatever it was.
So you could draw a token and just not be in assault range at all?
No. What happens? So the first you have everybody moving,
Yeah.
and then everybody shoots,
Right.
and then randomly you figure out who's going to assault first,
Right.
and so it's not a one side the other side. The whole turn is
No, I
completely
understand.
integrated. Yeah, so you could say, oh, I'm going to be assaulting this guy, but his guys get to assault first, so he ends up assaulting you.
But even, well, yeah, I guess that's I see the point. My point's moot. Yeah, that's a good one.
So it ended up working out really, really well, and people were a lot more engaged because they were like, oh, he's moving that right now.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so you never really felt like it was the good guys versus the bad guys.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It worked out well.
The other thing about the games you ran was everybody brought, 2,000 to 2,500 points or whatever.
Until that really big game.
Yeah. But the really big games where somebody has like 4,000 or 6,000 points of models, boy, that's where it starts to get cumbersome. I found it less cumbersome when I was just playing my army in and amongst other armies.
Yeah, it's and that's where you have to, if you're going to have a game, my personal opinion does not necessarily reflect the opinion of the independent characters.
I'll tell you in a minute if it does or not.
If you're going to do a game where you say everybody is able to bring 3,000 points or 4,000 points, you say if you're going to bring that many points, X percentage has to be Titanics.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Right? Or only X percentage can be infantry.
Yeah.
Something that limits the
That's
number
smart.
of moving parts.
That's smart.
Because otherwise it just gets unwieldy.
Yeah.
And you can't, you can't have that happen because that person's always going to feel like they're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
It'll bog the whole thing down.
For sure.
It's good. It's good thinking. Sometimes I wish 40K would go to alternating activations thing, and sometimes I'm like, no, but
I really like bolt action.
Yeah.
Quar was good too. You brought that up.
Yeah. So the bolt action, for people who don't know, you have identical dice that are just different colors, and you throw them all in a bag, and you just randomly pull out a die out, and whatever color that die is whose turn it is to move to do something with their unit. With Quar, the way they had it was
cards, right?
So let's say you had 6 units and I had 8 units. That's 14. So you'd have cards numbered 1 to 14, and you shuffle them up and deal them out to each person. And so you go, oh, I don't have number 1. So that means he's got number 1, and you have to put the cards down next to the unit.
Yeah.
Before ever
revealing.
The thing I love about that too is there's more decision making than I randomly reach in and draw a die, because I could randomly reach in and draw 4 of my dice.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah. Which almost feels like the double turn you got in Age of Sigmar to a degree.
Well, it just means that you have to change how you do your strategy.
That card thing though was
you have to change how you do your strategy.
That was a clever mechanic.
Which is very similar to how Star Wars Legion ended up playing. I don't know if either of you guys played that, but like each unit had a kind of a type. It's basically like you have an HQ card, you have an elite card, you have a troops card. It's not assigned to this specific unit.
It's a unit type.
But it's like you draw a card after a shuffled up deck, and like that's the type of unit that you get to activate.
Right.
You get to choose which one you do, and then if you choose to do your HQ card, like you have these special
that's an
cards
interesting
that let
idea
them do
too.
character abilities on top of like, which ended up being a really fun and clean system.
And Conquest was very. The current game Conquest is very similar to what they used to do with Confrontation, where you take your cards for your units and you create a stack.
Yeah.
And you flip them over and they activate in the stack. Back and forth. So it's
most modern game design has gone to
some
alternating activation,
some type of integrated.
Have a cool, because you are more engaged in the entire game when that happens.
Right.
This is like so core to the idea of 40K though, like just Warhammer in general.
I feel like
I'll be surprised if they change
it's one of the sacred cows they won't sacrifice. Right.
You've got your stat profile and you've got the I go you go, and that is what makes 40K more unique than
You can change anything else, but you can't change that.
Yeah. I mean,
although they have modified as they've gone, right? So you've got ballistic skill now is associated with the weapon, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they've simplified some things in that regard,
Right.
and made them more streamlined.
And both in Warcry and Kill Team, they've changed the way wounds are allocated. So they have kind of delved into, and Warcry and Kill Team are alternating activation.
Yeah.
But it does feel like an untouchable thing. In 40K they want
In the army scale game.
even when they moved like Dungeons and Dragons to 3.5, they were like, nothing is off limits. Like we could change everything except it has to be a D20.
Right. Yeah.
Like that was the one thing they stuck to. Right. And so they tried all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
And then obviously, 4th and 5th edition, they tried all kinds of different things too, but still results to the D20. But I just feel like in 40K, I wonder if they've played with the idea or they're just like, no, this is verboten. Like we don't touch
I'm
this.
sure they've played with it.
I'm sure they've
I mean,
played
look at like
Must have.
Titanicus alternating activations,
Right.
Legions Imperialis alternating activations,
You see how it
Necromunda
works
alternating
very
activations,
well.
like every other game they have, but they're big ones. Old World, Age of Sigmar, 40K,
Yeah.
I go, you go.
It just solves a lot of the one side wipes the other side initially. It
Yeah.
changes
Right.
the game.
It makes the Alpha
Vastly,
Strike
though.
much less of a factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway, I don't know why we got off on that tangent. Well, I do know why we got off on that
Because
tangent.
it makes it.
But it's an interesting point, and because they kind of addressed that in the last version of Apocalypse
Right.
that they were doing, and it worked very, very well.
Yeah, I think it's not really a tangent. It's just different ways to address the I go, you go thing that, as you say,
Which breaks
it breaks
down.
at that scale. It really does. I mean, because even when we did the timed phases and stuff, it's like, okay, well, they're going to be moving for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to go get a drink, or I'm going to go get and so you'd feel completely disengaged from the game.
Well, and it's not only that too. It's like I can bring all my firepower to bear on that one thing that I don't want there, and then it's dead, and now I'll bring the rest of it against that thing.
Yep.
And now I've lost my two favorite,
model, right?
Yeah.
Magnus, Thunderhawk,
We didn't even talk about
Warhound Titan.
Fate Weaver
Knight.
just getting obliterated, turned into a pile of
Took
feathers.
2 shots. First one killed the first head. Second one killed the second head.
He's
And
just
a Fate Weaver.
pile of feathers.
So, but you were talking about the Thunderhawk didn't explode, but that's where you can do like narrative.
Oh, we could have.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can do narrative things like, oh, okay, well, if you guys want to sacrifice 2 points or whatever, you can
let
have
it
it explode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I like that too.
Yeah.
If you want to spend a command point, it'll explode.
And give that option to either team.
And-
I'll sacrifice 2 points to have that Thunderhawk explode.
Yeah,
Well,
right
and
by-
I-
exactly,
and I did that.
which is where it
But
was.
that's fun and interesting.
I did at the Grand Narrative of playing against a Votan player. He killed the Thunder. Actually, his character, who was the last guy in that unit, killed my Warhound in close combat. And I said, well, you killed it. You rolled to see if you blew it up. And so he rolled it and rolled a 4. And I said, hey, you've got 2 command points. If you want to spend them, you can blow it up. He's like, really? Can we do that? He kind of looks around. I'm like, yeah, this is Crusade.
do whatever
This is
you
narrative.
want.
And as soon
do
as he
whatever you
rolls the
want.
dice,
It's
you're
the
done.
grand
Judge.
narrative.
What we should have done was with every flyer, we should have said,
Oh,
okay,
they scatter dice.
Deviation
Yes. Yeah.
deviation die 2d6
Crash 'em.
and it crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Kinda
you don't know. That
like-
would have added to the level of chaos on the
Like
table.
the old orc.
Maybe next time.
Ramshackle.
The ramshackle chart.
Maybe next time we'll
Yeah.
do something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I think that's the kind of thing. Like,
Fun thematic narrative elements that you can add to
like
it.
flyers, right? You could have gone back to you can only hit flyers on a 5 or a 6. I mean, you can add that stuff in to make the flyers more viable. The flip side is if you kill it, it's going to deviate and crash into whatever's on the board.
Yeah. So, I mean, these big models were kind of bleeding into that, like the Titans and that kind of thing. I mean, it's interesting, especially as I just mentioned in games this size, like Titan was on the board. It was destroyed first turn.
Yeah.
That was the first, and everybody always does it.
That was the first thing to kill. I yelled engine kill was the first thing that I killed in the shooting phase.
It's every game I've ever brought that Titan out.
Yeah.
They draw immediately all the fire.
It was destined to happen, especially in that scale of a game. But
They're called bullet magnets.
the fix we had, right, is that everything
It
got
worked.
to survive for a turn.
got
So
to
you
do
still
its
got
shooting.
you got to move and shoot
Yeah,
with a
to shoot it
Titan and
once.
like charge on an objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we implemented that in that random activation game. We did the same thing. We used the injury chit or whatever it's called, the damage token. It's like, okay, that predator's dead.
I should have just pulled the tokens out of the Apocalypse game.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking
Yeah, totally.
about it.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
didn't we
yeah.
think about that at the time?
That predator's dead, but it's going to get to do its thing.
Yeah,
And so
right.
what people would do is they would run it into and tank shock something and then roll to see if it blew up.
Right. Yeah.
we were doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's awesome because it adds to the narration of the game.
Where it broke down though was like, okay, this vehicle's in here and it's gonna explode. The guys have to get out. Okay, well, wait a minute. it just, there are a few things broke as we kind of hit the.
I gazed at death.
And run.
I did gaze of death on a demon prince, one of Shell's demon princes, and died. And demon prince died to shooting. My dice were very hot that game. Also, that didn't help you guys.
Dude, this guy could not. Freaking Josh.
Shell did she did 8 mortal wounds to me, and I made 6 5-up feel no pains to avoid the mortal wounds.
Next time,
just dice were pretty consistent.
Touch all of his dice.
Oh, but the other thing that happened, which was interesting, is Shell's demon prince was reduced to 0 wounds, and then we're like, okay, we charge.
But because it got to stay alive until its turn had finished, it got to charge, which was interesting. Because this is multiple phases of the game later.
But then we also ruled, well, wait a minute. It effectively has 0 wounds left, so it doesn't get its
the mortal
wounds on
charge damage is based upon how many wounds it has left. Which it had 0.
So we just said it has 0 wounds left.
That makes sense.
That's reasonable. Yeah. So, but it still got in there and got to swing.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, like, the interesting thing was, I mean, the chaos. We really got our snot kicked in, but I mean, we killed a bunch of stuff and obliterated units as well, and it was fun. I mean, there was nothing unfun about it. I didn't think. And adding the other thing with the challenges for the Taskmaster stuff, I mean,
that was a fun element.
I think it ended up swinging something like 9 points. Like it.
Well, so the interesting thing was that because we, as the Necron player, we went first, so we were all getting red tasks.
Yeah,
which means like those are all the penalty tasks. It's like we're not going to get the blue tasks because we're always going to have a red task in hand because we're going to kill something every single turn.
Yep.
Which was for the most part pretty true.
It turned into a good balancing.
So it did help counter up.
We still lost, but I mean, but the loss was not as severe. And
I mean, you might have looked at making those 2 points instead of 1.
I think it was good. I think it was a good set. Like it was fine. It was fine. It didn't.
Some of them were probably more points than others.
Actually, that's a good point.
Have a range of in there.
Yeah, you have a point of like, and Josh has a point too. Like maybe some of the more difficult ones would have been worth more points.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, keeping one hand on your head, okay.
Covering your eye.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I was like, I've got tendonitis. I'm not going to keep my hand up there. And it's not my house. So I'm not going to run and like rip open your printer and like tuck paper in my hat, which would have been fine. But
I would have let you do it.
It's like,
but you were like, I'm not doing this one.
What you do is you open up the envelope, and in the envelope is an eye patch.
Yeah, which I was like, I said that. I was like, if I had an eye patch,
like even more work.
That's more work on the GM setting it up. But
yeah, the thankless job of being a GM. I
didn't do any of the reading.
Yeah,
there wasn't any.
As we all know, and have been guilty of as well.
There wasn't any for this one.
That was, that was one of the mistakes we used to make early on in the end game events. Is Mike and I would come, this is great, like 13-page packet.
Nobody reads it.
Nobody reads it.
No one's gonna read it.
Nobody reads it. So it's like,
even if you make cool videos, nobody watches the video.
Minute-long videos. That's a low bar. Nobody watches them.
Keep it to 1 page. I even had a thing where on every table, I would have the table rule on the table. And you come over and go, oh, hey, how is the Death World thing work out?
They took it and threw it aside.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do that.
Well, that was where I had put all these papers on tables last time we had a big game thing here with a QR code. And it was like scan and submit the form to tell me how your game went. And people were like, what form? I'm like, the one that was on the table. Oh, is that what that paper was?
That paper that was in the way when we started setting up our game?
Right in front of you, dude. So anyway, we're all gamers.
Yeah. I played a game where each of the objectives, you turn it over and it had a piece of paper under it or on it, and that objective was worth it. You could do something based on what was on it. So you could like, oh, this building, if you take over this building, oh, there's a piece of paper, and you take the piece of paper out. Oh, this unit gets +1 AP for the next shooting turn, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can add
that's kind of cool.
You can add little features like that,
which is not heavy. No. It's not cumbersome,
right?
Although there were times where I like used my Thousand Suns stuff to like, okay, I'm going to give him -1 to his saves, and then I completely forgot about it.
There's so much going on that
there was just too much going on.
Yeah, there is
at that scale.
One thing I was going to bring up is that when we did encounter some clunky things, like part of it was we did have you and Tom as our narrative GMs, of course, both biased because you're on the chaos side. But no, we were all like,
Clearly we were biased. We lost.
Yeah, exactly.
So clearly we were unfair in our judgment.
the point I'm making is that we were all also very experienced gamers and narratively minded. So it would, even when we hit a little clunky thing, like there was no issues of just coming up.
People
with
just came up with
a
something on the
solution
fly.
that made sense.
And that
like,
kinda-
let's keep the game moving.
That's kind of the adjudicating on the fly stuff.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Don, you've said this before too. I mean, whatever keeps the like narrative moving forward
Right.
and just the game progressing forward.
And what Josh was saying is important. I mean, it depends on who's in the room. So if you have a bunch of people who all know each other well, all have the similar mindset, you're not going to have those kinds of problems.
No.
You say, hey, what are we going to do about that? Well, how about this? Yeah, that makes sense. And you just move on.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of people who don't necessarily know each other, like at a store event or whatever,
Then you need an independent
then you need to say,
GM.
oh, you can't agree? Roll a die on a 4 up, it works.
Yeah.
And move on.
Or an independent GM who comes over and makes
Right.
those
Yeah.
calls for you. The
Right.
4-up is a staple in the Games
Yes.
Workshop
Yeah.
approach to you can't agree. I mean, it used to be in the rule book. I don't know if it still is. I haven't seen it. There used to be in the 4th and 5th
It
edition.
was.
said,
It was in rulebook. I don't know if it's in the current.
if you
one.
can't figure it out, roll
it off.
roll a
Yeah.
die and roll it off.
Keep playing.
I think they've moved away from that as they've tried to get tighter with the rules and have the rules make a little more sense.
Well, because what people were doing is they were
Forcing a roll
artificially,
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
gamers.
Finding a way to game it.
Yeah.
Half the time, I'm going to get this rule to work in my favor every
Right.
time. Like,
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, I would say, as chaos was getting decimated in this game, we were working to make sure we didn't feel despondent about it and keeping the energy high and focusing on, well, what can we
Yeah,
destroy? Okay, I'm going to focus on killing Nightbringer. And that still didn't
Yep.
work.
he never died.
yeah, because you start getting these kind
Unkillable.
of these personal
Grudges.
Pyrrhic victory
Yeah,
grudges
totally.
things. Yeah,
But I was like laughing at some stuff. I mean, especially when Fate Weaver was destroyed. You got to laugh.
Just vaporized and just feathers floating down.
Yeah.
Like,
I can visualize it.
yeah.
So yeah, I have here ending the game cinematically, not on turn 3 fatigue. But the first point I have here is don't force 5 full rounds.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
It can be both.
We were tired.
Yeah.
I think was it that night we went out to dinner? Or did we go out to dinner the night before?
This is the night before.
We went out to dinner the night before. We went to Mexican food place that everybody kind of enjoys around here the night before. We all came with like a great attitude. We also came kind of expecting, like I even said, we are probably only going to get 3 turns in.
Yeah.
And by the time we finished the 3rd turn, we were, everybody's like, it's pretty much been decided decisively at this point. Let's call it. Everybody had fun. We had gone through, I think, almost all the envelopes of.
Yeah. I think every single Taskmaster task was used.
I think we had 1 or 2 left on the blue side or something.
yeah. Because
like
you guys
that.
didn't
We couldn't
kill enough
take-
of our units.
No, we didn't die enough. We could only die once per round.
That's true. That's true.
So I mean, the fact that all those got used, that
we didn't
part
die
of the
enough.
game,
That's the problem.
that's really the problem. But yeah, I mean, again, you don't want to force the full 5 rounds if you don't have to. There's no point in it. You could have like narrative endings. One of the disaster table thing in the old Apocalypse book is a great example of things to speed the game up and just get it to a satisfying conclusion. I think that's the point. You want to get to a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a thing like, if you can destroy the big citadel in the middle of the board, and that's
Find your
that's
Pyrrhic
the-
victories. And
Well, I mean, no, that might be what causes the end of the game.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, in one of the versions of Apocalypse, they had a doomsday counter,
Yeah.
and things that could make that doomsday counter go faster, and that it would explode and create these big explosions. And so you can build in little narrative triggers, literally triggers, for blowing up the end of your game. Right.
It's a cool idea.
A scale of game like this, there's never been more of an excuse to make 40K your own game. So
Yes.
when you like embrace that in a game of this scale, like we're already doing so many things against the core match play 2,000 point type of game style, like lean into that and make the game your own. Tell that story you want to tell and make it satisfying and fun for everybody. Feel free to change stuff on the fly.
Yeah, at the cafe, people would come in and say, "Hey, we've been playing AOS or whatever game it was, and we really want to do this." Oh, well, then do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the rules don't say. I said, wait, no, it's your game. We're not going to come to your house and take it away from you because you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
If you and your crew decide that that's going to be more fun, then do that.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do that, and you should embrace that more than ever in a game in the games of this size.
Yeah. I think one of the pitfalls there is a game of this size doesn't get organized very often. And so you want it to be successful.
Yes.
And so if you skew something and you realize something's skewed a little too far,
Change it on the fly.
Change it on the fly
Yep.
because you're not going to get an opportunity to
Yep.
do it again very soon.
Just make the call. Yep.
Yeah.
And look at other resources that are out there.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's us or whether it's Fords and whoever it is, it's out there. There's a lot of resources out there for apocalypse style games, large scale games.
For sure.
You know, use that World Wide Web.
That's
you
right.
know, scour for the resources that are out there, see what works, what doesn't work.
Most people in this generation refer to it as the internet, but sure.
Yes, I was making
That's
an
what
intentional joke.
WWW stands
That was
for?
making an intentional joke.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's pop down here to lessons learned, kind of common pitfalls. You know,
Okay.
again, I think we realized ahead of even playing, but we saw it in action. There's too many special rules.
Yep.
There's too much symmetry to really effectively do 40K at this scale.
Yeah.
It's just like my concern was, and I don't even know if you guys have it anymore, but who's the Necron guy that used to call down lightning on all the units?
Imotech.
Imotech. I don't know if
Star-Lord.
he still does that.
I don't play special characters, so I'm
Yeah,
not
so
sure.
you would know. But
Yeah,
But
he drew on lightning on everything on the table.
that's what I'm talking about.
right,
One of my
yeah.
concerns was, and so
I think he does, but I'm sure it's simplified now. Just what 10th edition.
could
makes
you
so much more
imagine
streamlined.
how
Like,
long that one character would take?
Well, and that's when you do it on the
every
fly.
single
Say,
unit
no,
gets hit
it's
on a
D6.
six.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% correct.
Right? You just
Speed
do
it
it
up.
on the fly.
What little thing like the reanimation protocols we rolled per table, like not per unit, per table. Like this is what
That's right.
this table gets. That
Yeah.
sped up the game a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. Everybody got their own command points, but a lot of times you just forgot that you had command points,
Right.
or you'd be like, oh, I'm going to use my command point to reroll this die. You know, and it's
Right.
like, do you have any?
sure.
I guess I do. I haven't used any up until this point.
Right.
So basically every round I just use one to try to reroll
And
a die.
that's when you do things like the only things you can do are
The core,
Overwatch,
yeah.
reroll, or you limit it down to the core ones, and then you actually hand people legit like tokens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
We didn't even track it that closely.
what I've seen done before is you use cookies, and if you eat your cookie, then you don't get to use that command point.
But it was delicious.
But it was a
I
good
like,
cookie.
I like that idea. I like cookies. Yeah. So definitely you need to prep in advance.
Yes.
I want to
That's
thank
one of the pitfalls.
I want to thank Tom for
If you
setting up the Taskmaster tasks. I think beyond that, like the table setup, I did all that pretty much on my own. Like I have the ability to do that here. By the next morning, I had everything cleaned, like even tables broken down and taken out. So it wasn't too bad. Again, trying to balance things, not just curate rules, but just on the fly, making judgment calls, like you just said,
Yep.
Don. I think you got to have that kind of set in your head.
And the pitfall of not prepping goes along with making sure that you set the tone
Yeah.
at the
Yep.
beginning of the
Yep.
thing. You don't need to have a 5-page speech.
No, but just
But
set the tone.
you want to set the tone and make sure everybody's on the same page. Hey, we're here for XYZ
Yeah.
thing. And
If you have a problem, come talk to me.
yeah,
You know, but we had set that tone, I think, well in advance.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then we reiterated it just before the game, and it was mostly just have fun.
but you had a bunch of people who all knew each other and were of like minds anyway.
And so then the other thing I will throw out there that we did in this that I didn't mention was in Taskmaster. Every episode, the first task is you bring something that has been
Oh, yeah.
dictated by the Taskmaster. Like the Taskmaster may say, bring your most unique item. And whoever wins that round of that episode of the Taskmaster gets all the items. So what we did was we said everybody must bring one item, and then because we didn't do our Secret Santa this year,
Right.
Or our
White
white elephant. What we'll do is then the winning team gets to go pick first from the prizes,
yeah.
and then the other team gets
Yeah,
to pick
yeah,
theirs.
yeah, yeah.
And so what everybody was told to bring something that you would take to Adepticon.
Oh,
And there was no prize cost limit on this. Like you could bring whatever it is you wanted, and some people brought serious stuff. Some people brought deodorant.
Somebody got a whole travel caddy,
Somebody got
like a bathroom travel caddy,
like a bottle of Advil and like Tums.
In the early days of KublaCon, I used to put a bottle of air freshener on the table.
That's a good idea. I gave away. I had Adepticon metal objective tokens.
Oh, nice.
Which were nice. And then I won a special character, like Necron's special character model. It was like a unique thing. And then like I was talking to.
Oh, it was me.
It was you.
Because I won the medals.
The medals.
It's like I already have the Adepticon
like,
medals.
I'm not going to use this Necron guy.
You guys just traded.
So we just traded back. And so I got my medals back. But yeah, it was fun. But what was funny about it was how confused Aaron became with it. Like I was like, he's like, I don't understand.
I need more parameters.
I go, what don't you understand? He goes, well, it just says bring something you take to Adepticon. I go, yes.
It's very open-ended.
All the information you need is in the task.
His eyes glazed over.
It just could not click for him. I don't remember what he brought, but anyway, Shell got like a ton of chaos stuff.
Nice, yeah.
She got like the Lord Discordant on the riding thing, and then like model. 3 packs of like chaos cultists from Blackstone Fortress.
Oh, that must have been a gift from Sky.
Okay, Sky must have been done.
It was not from Sky.
Really?
I want to say
bought that.
I want to say it was Steve, but I don't remember. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure.
That was very generous.
Why would he bring that to Adepticon?
Well, I mean, in theory,
models.
You're bringing models to Adepticon.
That's very generous of him.
Some people bring them. I don't know that it was Steve for a fact. I don't know.
But did people know it was going to be part of the White Elephant?
People knew you were bringing something that was going to be given away. That was all you knew.
Oh, wow.
And it had to be wrapped.
Wow. Well, that's very nice of him.
Yeah.
Or whoever it was that brought that.
Yeah. I mean, some of the prizes were quite good. You know, I mean, my prize was, those things were like $50-$60 when we bought them.
Yeah. The metal objective markers.
Yeah. So, you know, and you got a special character that's like
it's not even it's an alternate sculpt, I guess. So it doesn't have rules, but it's a different sculpt that doesn't exist anywhere else. And like, I've got a Finecast Overlord I'll happily replace with a new plastic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool looking.
Yeah.
All right. Should we take a break, come back, close out the show?
Well, the last thing you have on that list is what would you do differently next time?
I think I kind of addressed that throughout the thing. We'd add another table. Like we weren't quite big enough on the tables. That was, I think, the major drawback.
Yeah. Another table.
And I think we would limit it to super heavy.
Just Titanic Utans get to survive that first turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd limit it to that.
If other stuff dies, it's fine. You've got so many other toys to play with. It doesn't matter at that scale.
Yeah.
I would probably go with a smaller group, just in general.
I do like your idea of the timed phases. And yes, ideally I would go with a smaller group. It should have been a smaller group.
Which like either
I was weak.
Same size table, smaller group, extra table, same amount of people.
Yeah. But I agree with you.
I think it needs one or the other. Yeah. But it was totally fine as it is at the same time.
Move fast.
Yeah.
But I like your idea of the time
phase is good. I also like the integrated turns.
Yeah, that's kind of cool idea too. The more I thought about it, the more I like your suggestion there on the.
Yeah, I was not sure the first time I did it, and when I did it, I was like, I really like this.
That's a good place to, experiment with that in a small game first, and then see how it translates, and be like, okay, this could be a lot of fun in a bigger game.
Yeah.
But like, again, you're coming to this game. This is not an out of the box 40K experience.
No.
So set the expectation that it's going to be a little bit different and lean into that. And that's cool. So,
all right, we'll be right back. All right, so let's move into kind of our final thoughts here. And on this, I have the question why this is worth doing, but you mentioned something during the break about your Necrons.
I was saying this is back this iteration of my Necron army, because again, I've been playing Necron since second edition when they came out in White Dwarf, but this iteration of my Necron army really started because of Apocalypse, and I had a massive, I still have a massive collection. I've over 6,000 points of painted Necrons, but while we were playing a lot of Apocalypse back in 5th and 6th edition, like I had 130 warriors because there was an apocalyptic formation called the Endless Legion, where like you just field this massive thing of warriors that aren't going to die, and they just, you know, you can move them all as a blob, and they don't die because they had rules that pretty much made them unkillable. They're not going to do a lot, but
Oh, so they're like now.
I mean, but in like today's age, I have zero reason to have 130 warriors. So like at the end of 6th edition, we weren't playing that much Apocalypse anymore. So like I sold off 70 warriors, and like I still have 60 warriors, and that's a great size collection.
That's still a lot.
It's still a lot of fully painted warriors, all converted. So it's like I didn't need that to add to my collection anymore because I still have a sizable collection, and I'd rather those models go to somebody else who's going to field them in a regular thing than them just sit on a shelf collecting dust. But that was a cool thing, but the game has moved away from those kind of formations and things like that. So there's not really the incentive to collect toward those formations anymore.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I think that I have mega battles listed as a hobby milestone here. I mean, there certainly is, like, I can count on two hands the number of Apocalypse games I've played in. And but I remember most of them.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I mean, they are lasting. The one you ran it in game that I talked about with my Thunderhawk flying around the U-shaped tables.
I was in that game. I was like, I remember the U-shaped tables.
Yeah. And I mean, we drove up to in game to go play it. And I still remember it to this day. I remember going out and the paper sheets cut out and, this is where we're deploying. Okay.
I spent a lot of time cutting out those sheets.
I know you did. We will remember this game for some time to come.
Oh, yeah.
Locke will remember this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
it's what we call a gamer's core memory.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if you're interested in doing something like this, I would say, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Start small with and try to get the tone right, which is stop worrying about winning and losing so much and mostly just about hanging out.
Have fun, tell pictures.
But I agree on keeping it a hobby milestone. In other words, you want it to look great.
Yeah,
you want it to be fun.
I mean, sticking a bunch of gray models out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to be too complicated.
What was that? The game mode, 2,000 points, unpainted. Ard Boys.
It was unpainted. I didn't realize Boys was.
There was no painting requirement.
No paint requirement. It didn't have to be unpainted. But there was no paint requirement. Like this is that very different experience.
We used to call it plastic smash.
Plastic smash.
Just smash the two plastic arms together.
There's something there. Like as you said that, like there's something about like some kind of method where we say we start with 2,000 points, completely unpainted armies, and then. I don't know. There's something there where it's like it's gray plastic on gray plastic, and then you have to paint things over. I don't know.
And you get points for it. Or
I don't know. No. There's
so
something.
It's a modified style of escalation.
I'm thinking. I don't know.
It's attrition instead of escalation. They paint what survives at the end of it. Like after the end of 3 games, you have to paint what survives,
or you don't get to play,
or you don't get any points for your campaign.
I mentioned this before.
Getting a little off topic here.
What they used to do at GW. Was they had these events where you got like the Battle Force box, the small one, and then like they were like you have a week to paint it, and then everybody brought theirs in. If it wasn't painted, they smashed it with a hammer.
I don't know about that.
You didn't buy them, like GW provided it to the employee.
Yeah.
Oh, the employee thing, yes.
To the employees.
Yes.
This all makes way more sense. It's like, why would you go back with an unpainted?
No.
The employees,
They'll track you down.
Employees had to bring it in, and if it wasn't painted, they smashed it in front of you with a hammer. So everybody would get it painted. Because if you painted it, you got to keep it.
Wild.
Yeah, we also had the Iron Hobbyist thing we did once where you started with a combat patrol or spearhead, and then you got a random selection of paints given to you.
Oh, God.
And you had to bring it back in 7 days painted.
With those random
selections.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all. No. Limited palettes are cool for one-off artistic projects, not for army painting.
For me to get through a whole army, I better like those colors.
Yeah,
but that's what it was, just a combat patrol or spearhead. But you were vying for what we gave out though was a WWE kind of style championship belt. And so that belt was in the case with your name. And anytime you were in the shop, if you wanted to, you could wear the belt. Is the Iron Hobbyist.
Cool.
So we did at the cafe. Anyway.
But you're stuck with an army that's painted colors you hate.
Not necessarily. It's
Carl
all about
would only get
it's all
away.
about
Always
blending
repaint
and stuff like that.
To bring this full circle, though,
Yes.
not only is a hobby
Some of
milestone,
us can go to Warhammer World and just see our name on a board and a shield.
First, he does the flex about the 6,000 points in second edition. Now you're doing the hero
He
flex.
has way more medals than I have.
I have more trophies.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot. I only have one medal, but I have lots of trophies. I do.
Mine are for
I have one.
lover. I have tons.
I mean, that's the one that
for-
counts. I've got a bunch of painting awards and best general awards, all that stuff. But they're all
Best lover.
they're trouble. I've got trophies.
You can't give that to yourself, Carl. I keep telling you.
That's what you say.
Gave it to himself left-handed.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
You'll get that later. So what I was saying
you'll
is,
catch that one
yeah, not only are these like events themselves a milestone, but like I use this as a good excuse to paint that model that had
Yeah.
been sitting in a box unassembled
Yeah,
for 10
right.
years.
That was
Like,
awesome.
Right.
And it's a big model that's not going to see regular gameplay, which is why it's been sitting in a box. So
Right.
I use these events to motivate myself. Like I already have a fully painted metal Nightbringer, but I wanted to paint the new one for this event specifically because it was a good
And
time
you can
to
even
show
build it
off.
into, you can say, hey guys, we're going to do this event in 3 months or whatever. Everybody is required to bring one Titanic unit.
Yeah.
And if you have a group where nobody has a Titanic unit, that's a great motivation for everybody to get something, paint it up, and bring it to the game. So you can use it as a motivating factor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a steep. You use a knight. You know.
Yeah,
It's still
something.
it's a costly. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. I
mean, it depends on your group, right?
Yeah,
You have to.
it absolutely
It
depends.
depends on your group. If
Yeah.
you have a group of folks and they want to do something and they're,
Motivated.
not like brand new players, but they have their 2,000 point army and say, okay, we're gonna step up,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I get it. Okay. Well, on that note, please leave us reviews on your podcast app of choice if you can, or rate us or whatever. iTunes reviews are fantastic. We absolutely love those. As you know, we have a Facebook. You heard
Community.
You heard earlier the Facebook community, which is still thriving and very popular and very active. We have the Discord, which is popular and active
And growing.
and growing. and
Even more active than Facebook.
and we still have the Hobby Progress Challenge going,
Yeah.
which I think next episode we'll have Shell come in and give some stats. She's been tracking all that, so I want to
Nice.
tip of my hat to Shell, who's
Yeah.
been doing all that work. I'm starting to get commitments from various vendors. Herrick Games has already committed some prize support, Army Painter, so we're doing okay.
Fantastic.
We're going to Adepticon in March, which is just around the corner.
Yep.
That's where I need to take some time to hit up a bunch of vendors for prize support and give them advertising for the next
Yeah.
4 months
Absolutely.
while we
Yeah.
support their products. So yeah. What else? And we got the Patreon. If you're interested in hearing more bonus content, that kind of stuff, Formula One season's coming up. So
coming
Don
up.
and I are going to start talking Formula One stuff for bonus content again.
The Bahrain testing was interesting.
It was interesting. I don't know that it tells us a whole lot. I mean, it tells us some stuff,
but it's interesting though.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Seeing the drivers' reactions to that stuff is very interesting.
Absolutely.
Seeing the new Cadillac
know.
car was awesome to me. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Can have fun.
I like it.
don't know. Anyway,
It's an old man brand.
until next time, this is Carl.
This is Josh.
This is a Don.
And we're coming to you from the Astronomicon, where I forgot what I was going to say.
Who's old now?
And where mega battles are mega good times.
Oh, that was a good one.
And where sometimes size does matter.
That's what she said.
Or he said.
Yeah, I'm not judging.
This episode of The Independent Characters is protected by the Creative Commons license. If you have further questions as to its use, you can find information on the front page at theindependentcharacters.com.